Hey guys, what's up? Look at this Terminator over here. What's up, Michael? How you doing? Oh, did you freeze? Did I freeze? Oh no. Well, guys, welcome to Collection Wars. We got an amazing show for you guys tonight. Hopefully it's not me that's frozen. I hope it's Michael and you guys are hearing me. At least Michael is like frozen in a like not embarrassing pose, right? It could have been a lot worse. There he is.
Was
Anyway,
that?
yeah, you froze up a little bit. It's all right.
Jeez, what's going on? How you doing, Gabe?
Good, good, good. Man.
Man, what? Right when we go live,
I
everything's been fine. You
know.
know what I mean?
You know what? The bandwidth. It probably started taking some of the bandwidth. Let me throw
Yes,
out some technical terms for you, Michael, real
I
quick.
know. Getting all techie with me. Sounds
Um,
sounds good. Let's. I'm gonna move into another room. How you doing, Gabe?
good, 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 man. I'm excited for tonight's show. We got all our buddies already jumping online, trickling
Yeah, I
in.
saw that. Hey,
We got
everybody.
Matt. What's up, Matt? How you doing? Juan. What's up, Juan? Stefan. Ken. What's up? Back from dinner, 10 minutes to spare. It's always like that, right? It's
That's
like
awesome. Yeah, that's the way it is
boom,
with.
right there.
Yes.
Jeff, what's up, Jeff? Jose, Punisher XS. What's up? Let's see, Koi,
Hey, Corey.
Chris, Joel. What's up, Joel? Armando, Jorge. What's up? Or George or Jorge? I don't know. We'll see what you want to be called. I'll call you Jorge.
If it's
Sean, what's
George,
up, Sean?
spell
How
with a
you doing?
G.
I know, right? Uh, Armando can. Oh, so it was Mike. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Sean, what's up, Sean? Luke,
Hey, Luke.
what's up, Lee? Yeah, Lee always with the tech advice, right? Just
Yeah.
because he lives in Tony
Yeah,
Stark's
yeah, I know.
Tony
He
Stark's
was telling me
house.
earlier today about
But
that. Pain in the ass.
Scott Berry, what's up, Scott? Oh, and we have it's Janine, right? Janine,
Janine.
yes.
Hey,
What
Janine.
is up, everybody? So I'm really excited for tonight's show.
Yes.
Uh, Michael, first and foremost, we have guest, our buddy Marcel, that's going to jump on really quick, and
Yeah.
we got some updates and got some news that you're going to hear it here first on Collection Wars. I'm really excited for these next couple of prints. So let's
Yes.
bring them on. Actually, hold on, look, we got David, we got Russell. Sorry, we got Far From Death. Everyone's kind of trickling in.
Good to see
Um,
everybody, like
there,
always.
I know. So let's bring them on.
Oh,
What's
hey
up,
guys.
Marcel? I know you're like, what's going on? How you
Hey,
doing, Marcel?
Marcel, did you see what happened? We went live and it went blank. It was like, what the hell?
Yeah, you were like,
I
you look
know.
good though, bro. You look good.
Yeah,
Hey
thanks.
everybody, hope you guys are well.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
You've been busy. I know.
Super busy. Yeah, today's been a crazy day. Let's get into it because we want to
Yeah.
get to your main guy. You guys are going to be blown away by what you're about to see when I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Oh man. So let's go step by step here, Marcel. We got a couple prints that we're gonna talk about, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Three new masterpieces to add to your force your force collection, right?
Yeah, you got that right.
All right. The first one, we could see it in the background there, is
Oh
the
yeah.
Emperor.
So today it's just the two, but let's get into it.
Right.
So we're talking about the Emperor tonight. That's what's going on. That's sort of the big deal right now.
Yeah.
There's three. So what we're doing with the Emperor, here he is. Um,
Man.
he drops tonight. The site is live now,
No.
and we're doing two different editions. The first edition is called and this is sort of the big news. We're trying to think of new ways of kind of expanding on what we're doing and making things more interesting for people in the community. So we're introducing a signature series. So tonight, our signature series is live, where we're offering 30 by 40 print. So it's the full-size print that you can see on the screen and behind me. And we have
So,
a
Marcel,
new, yeah.
before you even jump, just for anyone who's new watching us,
Oh yeah.
obviously, that are not familiar with Marcel's work, Marcel is an amazing artist where he's hyper realism.
Yeah, it's hyper-realism.
And what, just really quick, what are some of the tools that you use to achieve your
So mostly what I do is I take an image. The Emperor image is a frame from the film Return of the Jedi, and pencil sketch it up on the page, and then the whole thing is done in pen and ink. I use this Japanese brand, Sakura. Yeah, so everything is done in pen and ink. There's no computers, there's no painting, there's no watercolors or anything like that. So yeah, I do the print, and then if you go to the next one, I take it down to my buddy Alan, and he shoots it for me. So it's shot like a whole bunch of times, and he stitches all the image together and preps it for a print. So normally that's what we would do. I would draw it, bring it to him, he would shoot it, and it's good to go. We put it up on the website. The data for the website, I'm hoping, is down below. If not, we'll share it later.
Yes.
So everything is hand drawn, and these things take a couple of months. It's a really long, meticulous process, which I really love. For me, it's meditative, and it's Star Wars. I'm just looking into a pool of nostalgia and original trilogy memories, right? And so for me, it's just a labor of love. I've been drawing Star Wars since 1977. I'm 52 now, and I'll be drawing Star Wars till I die. I love it. So this Emperor Signature Series comes with a plaque. This plaque will be signed by Ian McDermott, and it will be signed by myself. So I think it's one of the first, I don't know, where you have the actor and the artist signing the same plaque. But the point is that we wanted to offer something interesting and new. And I think that this is, my DMs have been blowing up for like the last 48 hours. It's been going crazy. People really like this concept, and I'm so moved by the response from so many people. Thank you so much. It's just been absolutely fantastic. So if you go on to, I want to speak a little bit quickly because I really want to respect the time of your main host.
You're good. We got time, buddy.
Okay. So if you go to the next one, let's see what we got. So this is a mock-up of a framed print. So you can see below, if you go to the next one, you can see the close-up of of what the plaque looks like. So what's I didn't send it to you.
There you go. No, you did. It's right here.
No, that's the one right there. Awesome. So Sean from Sithcast, I was supposed to go to ICCC. Long story short, I can't go. Great. So Sean will be bringing these down to have them signed. So shout out to Sean. Much love to you. Please, after the show, go to Sithcast, subscribe. Awesome show. Super duper people. So we were going to do a limited edition of 8 of these. Nancy just told me these are sold out. So the site just went live 9 minutes ago, and they're gone. So,
congratulations, Marcel.
That's awesome.
I'm so happy for you, bro. You deserve this, man.
Well, thank you guys, of course. And I wouldn't be here without you, as you and everybody here watching well knows.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do was, there's a number of people that have asked me, they would like to get one, and I feel pretty bad that there was such a low number. So we are going to double it and lift it up to 16.
Nice.
So I want to give a shout out to Nilda. Nilda's show, she's awesome. Her show is Appetite for Collecting. Yeah. Definitely. What's that? You want me to double it? Yeah, please. Right now? Yeah, she's gonna get a few more of these. She's gonna be at ICCC as well.
Nice.
So whatever new orders above 8, that's because of Nilda. She'll be down at ICCC getting those signed, and those will come back here. We'll wrap them all up and send them out to everybody.
Perfect.
So that's our signature series for the Emperor. We still have the 30 by 40 version, which comes with a regular plaque. It's a gold or silver plaque. And we still have the 16 by 20 version, which comes with the silver.
And the 16 by 20s, are you still doing 25 of those?
Yeah, those are 25. Yeah.
And
So
what's really cool too is anybody who missed out on these signature pieces that just sold out, you can modify and customize the smaller ones, doing the same thing, which is really cool.
so the Ian McDermott, the actor signed ones are only for the 30 by 40 prints. They're for
Right, right,
the
right,
much
right.
larger
Yeah,
prints.
they would have to do something custom.
Yeah.
Yeah, custom.
So
That's what I meant.
yeah. These come. What's that, love?
So
Oh, so Nancy's about to add the next 8
the
to
next day, perfect.
Your internet's blowing up, Marcel.
I know. So
Um,
guys, the link, Marcel's website is in the description below. So just open that up and go to his website, and you could order it directly from there.
am I lagging, or are you guys okay?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay, all right. So yeah, we got the signature series, and we have the regular Force 5s, the 30 by 40s and the 16 by 20s. Those all come with a certificate of authenticity, and you can see that this thing is the piece is caked in black. So I'm sending where did they go? I'm sending cotton gloves with each print, because you really need to be careful about handling this. I would very strong. Here's your little fancy cotton gloves for handling artwork. You really, 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 really need to be careful. There's like the paper is coated in ink from top to bottom. There will be like 1 inch or 1.5 inch of white around the whole piece for your framer to handle. If you are unrolling it yourself, just be very, very, very careful. It's just like any other print that has ink on it, but this one is black, and it doesn't hide. If you scuff it really, it doesn't hide it so well. Moving on, what we're doing also is our second signature series, which features Anthony Daniels, of course, C-3PO. Yeah, so this is a mock-up. I'll be working from that piece or a piece very similar. And so these are pre-order right now. So what we're asking people to do who are interested in the second signature series, again, this is happening at ICCC. Anthony Daniels will be signing the plaques. I think that's pretty well understood. We're asking people to just place a deposit, which is just the cost of the signature and the production of the plaque.
Right.
You'll receive an email, and this image will be completed by late summer, at which time people will receive an invoice for the balance of oh, okay, Nancy, the site is active with the Emperor signature series. Nancy just hollered down the hallway.
There you go, guys. So another 8 are up, ready to go.
So the Anthony Daniels will be signed at ICCC. Again, if this sells out, I don't know. I'll have to talk to Nilda and see if we can bump it up again. We'll see what happens. We'll just sort of play it by ear.
Okay. Now, is the Anthony Daniels one going to be live tonight as well, the pre-order?
The pre-order is live now.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I think like half are gone.
Oh, geez. Okay, so everybody needs to, jump on those ASAP.
Great, dude.
Is that everything? I think, Gabe?
So I wanted to show, obviously, just the difference of the plaques, right? So for people that don't get the signature, right? So even after the signatures are gone, you could still get Marcel's signature, right?
Yeah.
You could still opt in for your signature, just not the dual signature.
Yeah, that's right.
The big prints, you're still going to have some available without the artist, the actor's signature, but with yours, right? The big ones will have gold. The smaller ones will have silver.
Yeah, big ones are gold or silver, and the smaller ones are just silver.
Perfect.
Gold is fancy. Yeah. I think that's about it. I think that's about it. So yeah,
Marcel, is that smoke in the background? I think your computer's on fire back there.
I know, right?
Everybody, they're lighting up that they're buying.
Yeah, like it's a good problem to have when your DMs are blowing up for something like this.
Your
because
wife's in the background freaking out. That's
oh,
great.
dude, it's been crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm supposed to like exercise and stuff, and I haven't been able to for the last couple of days. Um,
So
anyway,
so a big shout out, obviously, to is it
Sean
Sean, number
from
one,
Sithcast
right? Yeah,
and Nilda,
and Nilda, who's gonna
yeah,
do the other ones,
they're
obviously.
doing the Lord of the Rings, going to the, the ICC and getting stuff
And
signed by the
that's
famous people.
see, and that's the coolest thing about this community. Like
Yeah.
how cool is this? Like you literally got like three different like little like YouTube channel groups helping you out, Marcel, to get these things. Like this is
Oh
so
yeah,
I love this.
no. That's the best
This
part, guys. That's the
yeah,
best part. I get to hang out with you. I get to talk to them. Lee's in there. So many people are like saying, okay, this person, talk to this person. Everybody's helping each other out. That's, from the first day I met you guys, that's what this was about. It was like, rising waters,
yeah.
lift all boats, right? And so we're all helping each other out. It's just been really, really great. I'm so honored to be part of this community, and it's just the love is just incredible. Let's move on to the next one because the clock is ticking.
And all right,
Yeah,
so
and I just saw a sneak peek right now.
I
Dude.
know, Michael, you're gonna freak out. So
Yeah.
obviously you could look at these plaques, guys, and you guys remember Marcel is doing an exclusive for Collection Wars.
Oh yeah,
We had talked about earlier what we were gonna do. We already kind of gave a sneak kind of preview, or at least like some. We threw it out there, right? We knew we were gonna do the McWorry concept helmet, right?
that's
Mhm.
right.
Well,
Yeah, so
Marcel, yeah,
this you can see here on the plaque. It's got my logo. It's got Collection Wars logo. For me, this is kind of a dream come true. I love working with you guys. So to have like the physical manifestation of like a collector's piece,
yeah.
I mean, it's just the top of the pyramid for me. I'm on cloud nine right now. This is
Man, that's we feel the same.
It's
Yeah.
just
No,
fantastic. So, just to let you guys know, when the image is completely ready, I want to talk about Ralph McQuarrie.
of course.
I want to spend some time like honoring his legacy.
Awesome. That's
And
awesome.
so I want to put something together for that. Right now, I just wanted to show you a couple of little segments. Will C3PO be available at 16 by 20 non-signature? Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right.
So let's take a look at
Let's
these.
take a little sneak peek here.
And everybody, oh my goodness. Okay.
I
Hey,
mean,
Marcel, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
just
yeah.
I've already got a place for that one. So
So I got to give a huge shout out to Lee. He's taken like 150 photographs of his piece, and he's videoed it for me like 4 or 5 times. And we've been like getting all the lights and all the darks and all the angles so that I can get exactly, as to the best of my ability, how this object appears without it actually me having it. Of course, if anybody has one and wants to send it to me, they can do that too.
yeah, right. You and me
But in the
both.
meantime, big shout out to Lee. He's been super patient and sending me as many images as I need to get this right. I wanted to share with you guys a tiny little thing that I'll talk about more later. I'm actually developed an entirely new technique for approaching this piece. As you guys know, a lot of my stuff depends on working with old, worn out materials where the ink isn't flowing so well. And I use that to my advantage to get nice gradients. All of these markers were brand new because I've never used blue before. So I had to figure out what it was that I was going to do. And it took me a couple of weeks to figure it out. And this is sort of a technical artist kind of thing, but actually developed a whole new technique for applying ink that I'm actually thinking about patenting and turning into a product. It's pretty trippy, man. This has been just an amazing experience. So when this is done, should be done maybe end of the month. I want to talk. I look forward to talking about this a lot more.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll have you on, and we can't wait to see the full reveal. Man.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. Of course, it's all in honor of Ralph McQuarrie. I mean,
Right.
he is Star Wars, even guys from Clone Wars, even the recent movies, they go right back to Ralph McQuarrie to try to craft, as much as some people might not like the sequels, a lot of that stuff still contains the blood and work of Ralph McQuarrie.
Well, man, thank you so much for that update, Marcel. And guys, I mean, come on. Like,
Pretty sexy piece.
I mean, think about it. It's sold out, like literally, like it's like we're talking about Comic-Con tickets here, like right at the hour, like everybody's just buying these. So
I'm really happy to be able to work with other people in the community. Again, Sean and Nilda, of course, you guys, and I'm really happy to be able to provide something that people will enjoy. So thank you very much, everybody, for providing me with this opportunity.
awesome.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I just want to say real quick on behalf of Gabe and me for sure, and for sure the viewers, Marcel, you're a super classy, humble human being. And it's awesome that we've been able to witness you grow. I mean, obviously you've been a beautiful artist from the get-go, but to see your creations just continuing to really get out there. People know who Marcel is now, you know, and you deserve it, Marcel. I'm really,
Thanks,
really
guys.
happy
I
for you.
appreciate it, Mike, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
For sure.
And and that's the thing. It shows, right? That's why the community is so supportive.
Yeah.
Not only just because you do amazing work, but just as you as a person. I mean, trust me, if it wasn't you, you wouldn't have this much support. Just, you know, that's how the Star Wars community is. You know, we
I'm
just
happy to fit in with
treat
the
each
rest
other.
of you guys.
We treat each other like family. So
Sorry, just one second. Just one second.
yes.
I don't know, Gabe. To me, these are still snapshot photos, man. It's hard to believe this dude freaking painted this shit.
I know.
Nancy was saying, somebody was asking me about the Macquarie print. Sorry, I'm not following the conversation here.
Yeah,
you're
so
good.
a lot of people really like the black backgrounds.
Yeah.
I love them too. This won't be so interesting, but like to get that matte ink on the paper, like solid, it's like stupid amount of time. But I love doing it. So what I'm going to try and do is with the Macquarie print, I don't know what's going to happen, but what I'm going to try to do is provide it with a white and a black background.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to talk to my guy, Alan at Fidelis. He's the guy, you know, who shoots all the stuff and all that stuff.
Okay.
So we're going to see what we can do with him, maybe dropping in some background and I can touch it up around the edges or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, to the folks that are down with the black backgrounds, me too. They're super sweet. Yeah. They add depth and it's really, really nice. So I'm going to try and do that. And I might try and do that with everything going forward if it kind of suits the image.
Nice.
Very cool.
Well, Marcel, again, thank you so much for jumping on, and thank you for announcing this on our channel. And guys, the link is down below. Make sure to jump on. Those signature series are obviously selling out super quick, so better jump on it ASAP. I can't wait for more, Marcel. More.
Yeah,
more.
We have another print coming that's going to drop closer to the end of the year that a lot of people are very excited about, and we hope to add that to make that the third signature series.
Nice.
Very cool.
I'll leave it at that. Thanks, guys.
We can't wait. Thank you, Marcel. Thank you for jumping on.
Love you, brother.
Again,
we'll talk to you soon, everybody.
Website is down below. Everyone jump on. Thank you, Marcel.
We'll be in touch, Marcel.
Cheers.
Okay, buddy. Man.
All right, Michael. Well, what's cool about this is that, you know, the signatures, because I know like David was asking if they're affiliated. This is not. This is all fan based artwork, right? This is something that it's a custom plaque that you're doing, as fans to other fans. And again, fans are going out to get the signature at a convention, which is a perfect segue for our guest tonight, my buddy Doug. I mean, guys, I'm not even going to spoil it, but I'm going to let Doug kind of introduce himself and explain everything. But the pictures that I have seen, I mean, I'm so jealous. And I've told him this already. I'm like, I am so
He's been
jealous of those
around.
experiences.
Yep.
So without further ado, let's bring on Doug. Hey Doug, look at that.
Hey, hello.
Hey, Doug, how are you, buddy?
I'm great.
Look
Gabe,
at
I've been a fan of your collection for ages, so thank you for having me. And hello, Michael. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too, Doug, for sure. Hey,
oh
dude, I just got to say, like everybody else is thinking right now, that's a badass table, brother.
yes.
Uh,
We'll
I,
get we want to ask you a bunch about that table.
I'm sure.
So,
Mhm.
so Doug, so really quick, look, obviously with all our guests that we have on, first of all, thank you obviously for taking time to come on the show. But we really here at Collection Wars, we really like to focus on Star Wars and the love of Star Wars and kind of what that meant to you as a child, right? As a kid growing up. And how did you kind of become a Star Wars fan, right? So if you could kind of give us a little bit of, who Doug is and what your relationship with Star Wars and where it all began.
Yeah, I would love to. I'm gonna switch cameras.
Yeah,
So I might do that
I
a few
love that.
times through the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was pretty much born a Star Wars fan. This is gonna sound crazy. I truly believe my earliest memory is seeing Vader on screen at the drive-in in 1977. I
Yeah.
was about 2.5 years old, and I cannot carve out a memory before that. But I remember being at a drive-in. I remember the speaker, like the old rusty speaker on the car
Mhm.
door,
Yeah.
and standing outside the car and just seeing Vader on that screen.
Yeah.
So I mean, look at the impression it left on me. Like, see how I turned out? I'm surrounded by Vader now.
Wow,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
So that's so cool. So obviously early on you were obsessed with Star Wars. Did
Uh,
you immediately start getting the figures and your parents started buying you stuff?
I actually didn't have that much. I came from a single mom family. My mom has a disability, so we had stuff, but I didn't like have everything. Like I
Yeah.
remember my first figure was, they called him at the time Hammerhead Man.
Yeah.
So I got that figure for Christmas, and I thought that was like everything. And then I got Walrus Man. I was like, yeah, I got two, yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't really have much, and I only got a couple after Empire Strikes Back came out. It was Return of the Jedi, where I was 9 years old and really started being like, okay, I remember the first one I got from Return of the Jedi was Bib Fortuna, and I remember opening it and the smell of the plastic
I
and
love that.
how every you
Yeah.
know, um, and then it was like the hunt for Ewoks. After we saw the movie, it blew me away. I think I was at an age where it was just the most impressionable. 9 years old,
Yeah.
and so
Gabe
that's
would
why
agree.
Return of the Jedi is my favorite movie, probably because I was at that impressionable age.
No.
I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Empire," but I think Jedi is mine. But
Yep.
and then the Ewok craze afterwards. I was every week. Can we go to the mall? Can we go to the mall? I need to find an Ewok. I would go to all the toy stores. I remember Spencer's and KB's and just
Mm.
every weekend just be like, oh, there's no Ewoks.
Yeah.
Tons of Admiral Akbar, but no Ewoks.
That's a cool memory.
Yeah. That's cool. So did you eventually kind of get your Ewoks
I
and
did. I got my Ewok. I even did the send away Emperor.
oh, yeah.
I was the first nerd in my neighborhood with an Emperor, and
Nice.
people would come over just to play with it. They would like. I remember we were playing outside in the snow. This was in New England. In the snow, we had Hoth figures, we had Jedi figures. There was just a whole big hodgepodge of figures playing in the snow, and my Emperor walking around in the snow.
Yeah.
I think I lost the cane in the snow.
Oh no. Those
That's
are
worth like $80 now.
I know. It's
Somebody
crazy.
found it.
Yeah. Okay, somebody Joel was like, "Yeah, that smell." Now yeah, that's how I had an uncle who had a bunch of Star Wars toys, and I used to smell them out. I literally, as a kid, I'd be like, I could smell that I just a very specific smell. So I love it. So Doug, okay, so you kind of grew up, right? And we
Yep.
talk about this all the time, is that for a lot of Star Wars fans, sometimes there's these big gaps, right? Big gaps in like in your fandom. Did you experience something like that?
I
Kind of.
did after Jedi. After Jedi, I had gotten like I probably kept the Return of the Jedi thing going for about 2 years. Like I
Mhm.
wanted Jabba the Hutt, I wanted the Rancor and the Tie Fighter, and I probably kept that going for a couple years. Then Transformers came along,
Mhm.
might have distracted me for a few years.
Yeah.
But it was the Timothy Zahn books in '91 that brought me back, and I read all three of those over and over and over again, and that kind of like really solidified the return of Star Wars for me. And
Mhm.
then every book that came after, I like day of release, I'm getting the books, and I remember high school, college, like I'm supposed to be studying, but I'm reading Star Wars books.
Yeah. So did you get into collecting some of the newer like Power of the Force, like the newer one?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the special editions in
Mm.
'97 is kind of where I started,
Okay.
and then I tried to go back in time a little bit and pick up on what I might have been missing out on it for a few years. But yeah, '97 is when I started collecting and like putting things on shelves,
Okay.
and it just started in my bedroom. Like I got
Yeah.
a couple figures, and I remember I got the Jabba the Hutt um, that came out after the special editions that didn't look right. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I was
Right.
my memory of my original '83 Java. I felt like it looked better in '83, but
Yeah.
what do I know?
Oh no, I think a lot of us felt that way, right? With the special editions, with like that Jabba scene, the song and the ending and all
Yep.
that. So 100%.
Yeah, it was '97 and then '99. The Phantom Menace and the Midnight Madness. Like me alongside many others, thinking, "Oh my God, I'm gonna buy everything. It's gonna be worth so much someday."
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that very well.
But yeah, I did Midnight Madness and I was just buying everything I could afford.
It
You
was
know,
before the movie even came out, right, Doug?
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
it was like 2 months before
Yeah.
yeah. So
ish.
Oh, yeah.
everyone bought everything, and then they were
And
like, "Oh,
yeah, remember it was like Pepsi, Taco Bell, like
Yep.
all the
yeah,
magazines, like
yeah."
everywhere. It was Star Wars everywhere.
No, but so the way I have my collection set up now, I have this big, huge wall of shelves. Like, so I'm
Yep.
looking, I see my collection. You guys see me. They that, yeah.
There you
Mhm.
go.
And the way it's organized, it's in I want to say story order of the films. So I
Yeah.
go 1 through 9 with Rogue One and Solo kind of in there as well, and like all the figures. There's loose open figures. It's the stuff that I had opened in '99 and put on shelves then.
Mhm.
I still have it on the shelves now, and then all the packaged stuff, everything that's on my shelves that is packaged is signed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm
Wait.
sure we'll talk about that in a little bit. But
Oh,
yeah,
we're
every
yeah.
single package figure you see on there is signed by somebody.
Yeah. Oh, and we will get to that. Trust me. So okay, so your collection. Let's kind of go through that. Let's go through a little bit of your collection. Um, so
That's
again,
the other angle.
from the other angle. So yeah, so definitely, and you're also a fan of the Clone War cartoons, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a big animation fan.
Okay.
Um, it- you know,
Yeah.
Obviously started with Saturday morning cartoons. Growing up, my day job is in broadcast.
Oh.
So, um, you, you know, we had a kids show. We have kids channels in our portfolio, and we had a lot of we were able to do Transformers Prime and My Little Pony and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And all of that was starting up about the same time as the Clone Wars. Dave Filoni's Clone Wars came out. Um, Dave came to Star Wars weekends one year. We had a big bonding moment over animation, and
Yeah.
yeah. So
That's
my
awesome.
my shelves go 1 through 9 with Rogue One and Solo, and then the last shelf is kind of an all animation. So Clone Wars, like the Micro series, the Filoni series, Rebels,
Awesome.
and I've been having to squeeze Mandalorian in now. Like that's
Yeah.
I'm still working that out.
Yeah.
Every collector's problem, right, is space.
Oh yeah. And Mandalorian threw us in a big kind of loop, right? Because then all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, we love this and we need to have stuff from it.
Yeah.
Where
Well,
are we gonna put it?
you know, so funny. I had promised myself, I was like, I'm not going to collect TV stuff. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to stick with the films. You know, this Mandalorian TV, it's going to be a TV show. It's not going to be as good. Like, I kind of was trying to talk myself out of it. And then, of course, it came and I succumbed.
Yep. Yeah. As we all did. Man, it's so cool. So this is this a separate room?
So this is I call this room the Dark Side Den. It's actually right behind where I'm sitting now, at the desk. This was a spare room that was technically unfinished. We built our house in 2018, and I had asked my family for a place for my Star Wars collection because I've always taken up like a guest bedroom or something, and like my grandmother would be staying with us, and Jabba the Hutt is staring at her while she sleeps, and so my family was like, okay, we'll do the loft. You can do Star Wars, but we don't want to see Star Wars anywhere else in the house. Like it stays up there.
Yeah.
And that space that you're looking at now. It was technically supposed to be unfinished, and the builder made an unfortunate mistake, and they finished it.
Oh,
so all I had to do is throw some flooring in and got myself a little break area.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool.
this angle doesn't show it, but there's another case to the left. It's kind of like my library. So all my books and everything are in there. Yeah, I had to get the Bradford Exchange Yoda lamp. We'd wanted it for years. It doesn't quite fit the Dark Side Den, but it's there for now. And the way I spin it is, Palpatine had, Yoda turned into stone and turned him into a lamp.
There you go.
Yeah, that's funny.
So cool.
Yeah, it's the EFX Boba helmet. So that plaque that's in front of it, that when this photo was taken, it wasn't out, but that plaque actually is autographed by 6 actors who played Boba Fett. Yeah. So wow. I got this one through Daniel Logan directly.
No.
Very cool.
Yeah, bounty boxes. Cool, yeah, I remember when they started announcing them. It's so cool. I love the fact that they did green pins too. Like that's such a cool touch.
Yeah, I remember Daniel told me a story. Jeremy didn't love the green pens. So there's a black series of this, and then there's a more limited green series.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, you got you.
So my collection. There's some cheekiness around.
Yeah.
There's actually up here in the loft. It's practically a 1-bedroom apartment. Like if you take the den, take this main loft space. There's actually a bathroom up here that I've decorated with Star Wars. I've got a Vader shower head. I should have gave you pictures of that Vader shower curtain. But there's an artist portrait of Saint Carrie. So when you go in to do your business, Saint Carrie is there giving you her favorite finger.
That's hilarious.
That's fine. I think I've seen that one, right? And it's Carrie there, and it has
like the dog, and she's giving you her favorite finger.
Yeah.
So these are the stairs coming up. Something that I've done in the last couple incarnations of my Star Wars room is I don't know. I love the posters divided by lightsabers thing. It's just it's just my thing.
Oh no, it's such a cool,
clean, very classy,
a cool way to do it.
Yeah, this is another angle going up the stairs. I got a little BB-8 light.
BB-8, so cool. Oh, here's some more.
So those are the ones that are right behind me here.
Right on. Okay, nice. And are all these like, are they like 40 by 27 like one sheet?
Yeah, these are all 27 by 40s. Yep. Yeah. All the double-sided, actual movie posters. There's Sideshow Jabba with Bib and Leia as Bausch, and yes, there are 2 Han Solos and Carbonite. One's a Sideshow, the other one's a mini fridge.
Oh, that's funny.
I need drinks, right?
Yeah. Oh, you gotta check out Michael's. If you go back a couple of shows, Michael's doing a whole diorama of the 1/6 scale, like whole Jabba scene, like the whole.
Nice.
Like, he's got, like,
you know what? I actually think I saw some of that. That one thing I would love to do someday, again, is that Return of the Jedi, love that I have. I would like to do something big with my Jabba setup. So I've got the Regal robot, Salacious, life-size Salacious coming later this year. I'm looking forward to adding him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to do something with Jabba. I actually have 3 different Jabba setups in my collection already. So
Nice.
You ought to look up Jens at Legacy Arts.
Yeah.
He's very reasonable priced. He's based out of Germany. We've had him on the show a couple of times, but he did my diorama. But
nice.
if you're wanting a scene around that, he's
Yeah.
your guy.
Yeah, I am, because right now it's sitting on a bookcase or a filing cabinet.
Yeah.
We'll send you. Yeah, we'll send you his contact, and
That's awesome. Yeah,
you could take a look.
Yeah, it was funny. So when I got that one, oh god, 2008, 2009, and my mother-in-law was here when it arrived, and I take it out of the box and I bring it downstairs, and I'm like, I'm all proud of, like, look at my Java, it's huge, it's great. My mother goes, what does it do?
Mhm.
I'm like,
That's what everyone asks about lightsabers, like about my lightsaber. Like, what do they do? I'm like, what do you want them to do? They look cool.
exactly. Like, look at him. He's so detailed. He looks like he did in '83. What does he do?
Yeah, that's so cool. Now, is this is the sideshow one, right?
This is the sideshow one from like 2008, 2009. Not the newest one.
Not the newest one. Okay.
Not the newest one. This one, like, and don't think I haven't looked at the newest one thinking, do I need to upgrade?
This one's fine. This
Yeah.
one's fine.
Yeah. And you got the helmet.
The Pyre helmet. Love it. I when I got this, I had to have the right pedestal for it. So went through Pedestal Source and gave them the dimensions of the piece, and they came back with that. We've got an Alexa bulb or something in it, so it can change color. I usually have it match whatever the color the desk is.
Yeah.
So like when I'm working, which never thought the desk would see the light of day the way it does, the way it has since the pandemic started. Never thought I'd be working from my desk, but I'll have that Pyre helmet podium the same color as the desk, whatever color I choose that day.
Very cool.
Usually based on my mood.
Yeah.
A red day is a bad day.
Right. Man, that's so cool. Oh, there it is. There's the red. Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome. And that's such a great idea. And again, that's part of our show is that, right? Like to show viewers like all the cool ways to display your stuff. And I love that. And I love the shelves actually that you ended up using. Like just the way there's that separation and the way they kind of zigzag. Like,
yeah,
cool.
I'm sure but like the painstaking amount of time I spent stressing over how am I going to do this and just researching every type of cabinet. And I reached out to people, like I pinged, the folks at Rancho Obi-Wan. I'm like, do you guys have any suggestions on shelves? Here's pictures of my space. And, Ann Newman responded and she's like, you need to go with what's in your heart. We can't tell you how to do your shelves. My Vader shrine. Vader being my earliest memory and my favorite character. Yeah, it's my Vader shrine. All Vader, all the time on that one. So cool. There's a theme to it. Like top shelf. The very top are my favorite pieces, and then I've got some higher end autograph things, and then you kind of get into just like every kind of Vader I could possibly find. There's even like a Vader dollar bill in there. My license plate you can actually see in there is the Dark Sith, and I've got a spare.
Oh, that's funny. So that's actually your license plate? Like,
that is, yeah. So so now you see me driving down the highway. There's the Dark Sith.
So yeah, I thought I was the only like geeking. So I have the Bumblebee Camaro, like the 2010 Bumblebee, and my license plate is Hasbro.
Awesome.
Just like there it is.
Yeah. I just got that Vader castle from Galaxy's Edge last summer. So
nice.
Yeah, that's a really cool
happy
piece.
to have that.
There you go. Look at that. Cool. I see David Prowse there.
Yeah, I got the Prowse on with the 2005 with the 500th Star Wars figure created.
Oh wow.
Yeah. trying to remember. I think I got him to sign that at Celebration 4.
Oh yeah, he got a bunch of them. Yeah, I got this one.
Yeah,
Man,
Prowse was the first autograph and first Star Wars celeb I met
really?
at Star Wars weekends in Orlando.
Oh, we're gonna get to that, guys. We're just going over. This is kind of these are the appetizers, right? The hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, so that last photo was kind of like my just
Which one?
all
The one?
kinds of every weird Vader I could find.
Yeah,
You know.
that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, and that Time magazine, I think it's hilarious. The last Star Wars in 2005, and
Yeah,
little did the world know.
I know, right? All right, let's look at some pictures of this desk because
Sure,
I'm
yeah.
sure that's what our guests immediately are like. Wait a second,
Hold up, rewind the tape.
yeah, we need to
So,
talk about this tape.
Okay, so when like I was saying, we built this house in 2018, and I was gonna have this space up here in the loft to work with, and I knew I wanted a desk. We had this like glass metal desk at the old house, and it just it had no shelves, it had no drawers. It was like not functional. It looked cool when there was nothing on it, but it had no, it wasn't functional. I knew I wanted something, so I started looking online and was like, okay, Star Wars furniture, Star Wars desks, Star Wars,
Yeah.
office equipment and everything, and I just wasn't finding anything. Like I did see, of course that search led me to Regal Robot, and I saw the stuff that they had, but like the Han Solo and Carbonite desk, that wasn't really my thing. I wanted something dark side.
Right.
So I was like, let me just reach out and see what ideas they have. And I started with the idea of Palpatine's desk from Revenge of the Sith, in his office.
Yeah.
That kind of like, gray metallic with the maroon sheen on, the panels and stuff like that. So I did a submission, sent them those photos as kind of like my starting point. Had a call with the amazing Tom Spina. Talked about the space, talked about what I'd, probably be using the desk for. And, they came back a few weeks later with a bunch of different designs. And then I took like pieces of different designs. And that's how we landed on what it is now.
Wow.
Because we kind of had he had the Imperial insignia like in the center of one version. Or like across all three, and then just the Vader head in another version, and then like the Death Star lighting was a little bit differently. So we just kind of mixed and matched from the designs, and now we have the Imperial Vader desk.
Man, all right. So then from concept, they started working on it. What was the time frame? Do you think from kind of concept to end?
We met in January of 2019. Like I did my submission, honestly, right. We moved into the house right before Christmas in 2018. So end of 18. Tom and I had our call in January of 19, and the desk delivered in October.
Okay.
So 10 months.
About 10 months, yeah.
He's fun to collaborate with. Tom.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, just the ideas going back and forth, and honestly, even for the whole space up here, I originally, like you guys, both of your collections, I bow down to you and your setups and how you have everything. Like I wanted to do like Death Star wall paneling everywhere, and we talked about that. It was like, well, yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, you can do anything.
Yeah, man. But then you ended up just kind of landing on this.
Yeah, because as I thought about it, the wall paneling wouldn't have allowed me to really have much of a display on the walls, and then I was just going to be covering it up with shelves and everything. So it's not to say I won't do something eventually, but for where we are right now, I'm pretty happy with the layout. It's very me.
So then part of that conversation were you like, I need a chair as well?
Oh, well, so this was a funny one. So I was actually going to go ahead. They had the Emperor throne chair. I think it's the one that you're sitting in, Gabe. That was more like a furniture chair, a decorative chair. and I was just gonna go like just get that chair. I was like, I have to have the Emperor's chair to go with the Imperial Vader desk. Like
Right.
it has to be. And Tom said this was early 19. Tom said, well, wait a minute. Just hold on a minute. We might have something better. And he shared that a desk chair version of that Emperor chair was on the way. So he's like, come see me at Celebration Chicago and we'll talk more about it. And they had it on display and I placed my order right there at Celebration. I
Oh,
walked up, saw it, said, yes, please.
oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Do you remember seeing Michael's Chewbacca there?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that was cool, right?
That was good stuff.
Man.
Gabe, I were you in Chicago?
I didn't go. No, I didn't go to
Okay.
that one.
Gotcha.
So then kind of these were the final
Yeah, so these are the Regal Robot like studio shots.
no.
Had everything show up undamaged?
Everything, what, they were amazing with the shipping. Like it came in pieces, and and assembly instructions.
Right.
But every piece was wrapped in like professional mover, like thick blanketed stuff. It was, it was shipped via freight. It was all scheduled and coordinated, and that was an exciting day.
That's
the day
the
that
best
thing
looking.
came.
I love that with the red.
Yeah,
Right.
carrying everything. They actually the movers were great. They brought the loft is on the third floor of the house, so they brought all the pieces up here, and they're like, okay, you're assembling this.
It's your turn.
Yeah. So I spent all. I remember it was late at night. Like they arrived around 8 p.m. and I probably stayed up till like 2 a.m. putting this thing together. And I had Tom's instructions printed. Of course, you're putting something together. You're excited. You miss a step or two, so I had to back up and do it. And, yeah, it's awesome.
Look at that. Wait, is that?
So
You have that life that you have that?
So that's me.
What?
So yeah, I have a Vader suit. It's not 501st level, but it's kind of it's a step above the Ruby's costumes, but a step below like the legit 501st. I'm also not the right height range, but again, Vader's my favorite character.
Yeah.
I love wearing the suit, and I will, at my day job, Vader will, pre-COVID would sometimes make appearances, for like employee events and stuff. And Halloween, I had a tradition every year. Vader would be the one giving out the candy to the trick-or-treaters.
Of course.
So this was Halloween 2020. And I was like, okay, I had to that point, I had not taken a photo in the costume with the desk yet. So I was like, I have to have photos with I gotta do it. So I was in the costume. We took pictures, did a whole photo shoot up here.
Nice.
It was actually, and that was before I had my Rise of Skywalker poster, which I have now, thankfully. But that was a long wait because none of these posters are signed except the Rise of Skywalker. I joined in on a signing to get Harrison Ford to sign the Rise of Skywalker poster. So I waited almost over a year to get that poster. So it was like having a missing tooth in the collection. I think eventually I put a teaser, like a Rise of Skywalker teaser poster up there until the actual thing showed up.
Oh, that's funny.
That's like.
Oh yeah, I had So every May the 4th, I put a little sign at the front of the desk. Well, I know we'll do Star Wars Day here. I'll decorate a little bit more on May the 4th. That's an acrylic sign that stands up.
That's
man,
awesome.
Gabe, we got a true fan here.
I know, man.
Yeah, all my life with everything I've done, it's either I'm all in or I'm all out. Like there's very little in between for me, and anybody who knows me knows that.
Well, it's pretty much all of the viewers watching.
Yeah,
Gabe.
I know. No, you're in the right company here because that's literally how we all are. We're like, we need to complete things. We gotta have, freaking everything that.
Yeah.
So before we get into this, we skipped this, and I purposely skipped this because obviously this is amazing. You have a little shrine.
I have so I have a Vader shrine and I have a Carrie shrine.
Okay. And so I obviously we're gonna get into this, but can you tell us a little bit about just kind of your, your you and Carrie? What attracts you to Carrie and why this shrine?
Why this shrine? I mean, other after Vader, Leia was my favorite character, my second favorite character until Ahsoka came along. I've got I'm a big Ahsoka fan now.
Yeah, me too.
No, I always loved Leia. You know, she wasn't like the other princesses.
Yeah.
You know, she was okay to shoot a gun. She was okay to tell people off. She was tough. Um, I would, and I've always been drawn to strong female characters. Sigourney Weaver in Aliens, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. I've always been drawn to strong female characters. So I've always been drawn to her. And myself, my family, we've always you know, we were always kind of like circling around Carrie over the years. And I would see her at some appearances at Walt Disney World. My husband's best friend was her tour guide at Disney. So I would get stories about Carrie, through that. And, the time went by, and I started volunteering for conventions. And Celebration 3 was my first show. My first convention ever. I had done Star Wars weekends at Disney. I lived in Orlando. Had done Star Wars weekends at Disney for years, and I thought I knew it all about doing Star Wars meet and greets and getting autographs and all of that stuff. And then I went to C3 and got my ass handed to me. Like that was a wild, brutal experience. The line just to enter the venue, the line for the store, the overnight wait to see George Lucas. Like I got my butt handed to me. Was not ready for any of that. And as so I'm meandering around the convention and I'm in the autograph hall and I'm like, okay, I met Matt Wood, I met Billy D, Ray Park, and I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, these people in orange shirts saying volunteer, sitting with the celebrities, helping them. And I'm like, man, that is an awesome gig. I wish I could do that. And, my through my TV career, like I've done work with celebrities. I had a very intimate Oprah experience at a very young age at like my first real TV job. Worked with Gloria Stefan, went on a field trip in high school to New York. We went to the Phil Donahue show and I got to meet Phil Donahue. And, so I was fairly comfortable, talking to the celebrities and meeting them. And it was always very exciting because for me, it's about the experience. It's about having that opportunity to say thank you and how much I appreciate you and what you've done and what this has meant to me, just like every fan does. But, that Celebration 3 experience kicked my butt. And I was like, gosh, I wish there's a way I could do that and be part of the show. So time went by and Celebration 4 came along in LA 2007. And I saw the call to action from Official Picks, like, interested in volunteering, apply here. So I was like, I'm going to apply.
Yeah.
And amazingly, I was accepted. And I shout outs to the Official Picks team and to Ann Newman for taking that first chance on me. Cause had I not had that first shot, I would not have had any of these experiences that I've had the last, dozen or so years.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did Celebration 4. My first job was coupon helper.
Wow. Oh, that's funny.
And it was tough. Like you go through an orientation, you get some training, and they tell you, okay, here's what you're gonna do: be kind, smile. They're fans just like you.
Mm-hmm.
They're anxious. They want to get somewhere. They want to have their moments. So help them have their moments.
Yeah.
So I did coupon helper for a couple of days, and then the first guest they assigned me to was Julian Glover.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna get to Carrie. Just
okay.
Go with me.
Yes.
And I was so nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh, General Peters. So, got a little bit of instruction, went to Julian's table, had the photos for him to sign, and I just laid everything on the table, put a couple pens down, and he came over and he looked around. He's just like, we need to do something about this.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, oh gosh, I'm getting off the wrong foot. And he shows me, how to place, where to put the photos, how to keep the space in front of him. And he explains to me, you put the photos here, we kind of have the little assembly line. I need this space clear because they're going to put their posters down. They're going to put their, to us, they're figures, but he called them models. They're going to put their models down and, we'll sign that, da, 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 da. And that way the photos don't get messed up. It's a nice little flow. So Julian Glover was the first one to teach me how to run a good autograph table.
Nice.
So, and that was a great experience. And we took a photo at the end of the day, and I was so pumped. And then the next day, I was with Nalini Krishan, who she was very sick. And if you guys were at that show, she was very sick. She couldn't talk. She ended up cutting her day short. And they were like, okay. I was like, okay, she's leaving. So what do you want me to do? And they're like, one of the leads pulled me over and was like, hey, just come help us out over here. Over here was, behind the curtain, the stack of Princess Leia photos, and out comes Carrie to sign all of these photos for official pics and for the show. And I'm like, not ready for it at all. And it's like, it's moving so fast, it's just like, and I'm just, shuffling things along, trying to stack them up and keep them moving. And, and she's got her Coca-Cola and, doing the signing. And I'm so nervous and the whole thing. The next day I was gonna, I had, just like everybody else, I didn't take my turn going through her line and getting her autograph and saying hello. So knowing that, my friend was her tour guide in Orlando at Disney, I was like, okay, is it okay if I mention your name? Like, will she remember you? Oh yeah, do it. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
So I got to the front of the line, after a several hour wait,
Yeah.
and I mentioned my friend, and she just, like, the eyes just came right in, like she snapped out of just the assembly line signing and just made the eye contact. And my friend had prepared me. She's like, look, if you're gonna have a real conversation with her, you've got to look her in the eye. You've got to be genuine, because she will see straight through to your soul and know if you're full of it or not.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
So we had a good conversation. As soon as I mentioned my friend, she's like, oh, how is she? What is she doing? And my friend had just had a baby. So we're like, I'm showing her pictures of the baby. Now at this point, I'm like holding up the line. People, like, I hear people grumbling. The crew working the table are like, come on.
Right.
But that was that experience. And I thought that was going to be my one and only experience with Carrie Fisher. But come to next Celebration 5 in Orlando, and I got the chance to, work a position at her table. And Celebration 6, again, worked a position at her table. And after Celebration 6 in 2013, Carrie was booked at a small show in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, a Monster Mania Con, so like a horror convention. So, and mind you, up to this point, I'd only done Celebrations. I hadn't been to any other conventions. Celebrations and Star Wars weekends, like that's all I'd done. And the volunteer director at the time, Tracy Kelly, who I cannot thank enough for all the opportunities over the years, she put out the call to action, like, hey, Northeast volunteers, we have a show. Is anybody available? I look it up at Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Where is that? Oh, it's only 2.5 hours away. I'm available. And yeah, I went up to, made plans for that, and was going to drive up and do this show in New Jersey. And a couple days before the show, I got a call, and it was like, hey, you're driving, right? Yeah. What kind of car do you drive? I got a black Honda CRV. Why? Clean it. She might be in it. And I was like, what? So at this time, I had a 2-year-old toddler and a Dalmatian.
Dog.
My car was not clean. There was nothing clean about my car. I spent 2 nights, I kid you not, into the wee hours of the morning, pulling out every imaginable car cleaning trick you could think of. Every spray, vacuum,
all the
lint rollers,
Cheerios, the goldfish out of the
everything.
seats.
And even after I drove to New Jersey, I still gave it another once over. And yeah, I turned out I ended up driving Carrie and her assistant at the time, Byron, and Gary, who had just had a
Dog, man.
Oh,
yep. I ended up driving them around for the weekend in New Jersey, and it was magical. I mean, that show was a phenomenal experience. Again, something I thought was going to be once in a lifetime, just unmatchable. Myself, the other volunteers, it was such an intimate experience.
yeah.
They had set us up in this tiny little room, and it was just us and Carrie and the fans coming through just in an assembly line. It was like family, like, yeah, we were there. And I was nursing a stress fracture at the time. So usually we would rotate positions, and everybody would get a chance at the table. They'd be working the line, helping, shuffle things off. And they're like, you know what, just go ahead, you can sit with her. We don't want you to stretch your foot out too much, et cetera, et cetera. So this was about the time, if you had seen Carrie, at that time, this is when the glittering began.
Oh, is that what she's doing there?
So
She's
yeah.
glittering on the fans.
So I would say, I think there was a New York show before this one where the glitter started. So fans would come through. All right, you're getting an item signed, and she would sign it, and then she would look up and say, "Glitter?" And some people were like, "Okay." And at first she started very, very, like, just a little bit of glitter, like a little on the cheek, maybe a little on the hand. And as time went by and she got more comfortable with it, she just started painting people. And it was hilarious. But as she's signing, she's got it all over her hands and everything, and she needs to put it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at me in that photo and you see my face, I became the human glitter towel.
So she would just wipe her hands on
She would
you.
literally, like, my hands, her hands on my face, my hair, my back, my legs. Glitter
arms.
was everywhere. And that just became, and it was crazy for us trying to work this table, because if you know anything about glitter, it gets everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to sweep it off the table because some folks are like, I don't want glitter on my item, and glitter is getting on people's items, and there is no sweeping glitter away. Like, glitter is everywhere. It lives there.
Yes.
I feel like it multiplies once it's applied. But that was hilarious because, in between signings, you got to go to panels and photo ops and all that stuff. And this show was at a hotel. So to get anywhere, we had to go outside. Mm-hmm. And we're walking outside, and there's 4 or 5 of us on, between the volunteers and her management and her assistant and then the show security. And we're walking outside in the sun, and I'm a couple steps ahead of her, and I hear in the background, I hear her say, "You look like one of those stupid Twilight vampires." And I'm like, "It's your fault."
Yeah.
Oh, because of the glitter?
Because of all the glitter, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
Oh,
so did you ever get to go have dinner with her, or have lunch with her? Or?
Not at that show. Years later, yes, but not that show. We very much we let her and Byron, like, have their privacy. They would go to eat in the hotel restaurant. So this one, so thing about Carrie is, when she was doing a signing, making a convention appearance, she didn't want to just do the signing. She wanted to shop. She wanted to go mingle. She wanted to see who else was there. So, when Carrie wanted to go somewhere, we take Carrie where she wants to go.
Very cool.
And she went down into the signing room, and we saw Lori Petty, we saw Christopher Lloyd. I think the Being Human cast was there. So she's just making the rounds, and we're having to play bodyguard and keep people. Gary Busey. Oh my God, yeah. That was a funny moment, because he's leaning in, and here he's saying, "You are still so hot. Man, I just want you to know that you are so hot."
That dude's crazy,
And she's
right?
going, thanks.
No, I could totally see it too. She's like, oh my gosh,
I
that is.
can't even see Gary Busey at a convention signing, to be completely honest, because
I know,
it just
right?
seems kind of nutty, you know?
He was there. He was a little energetic.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
So
so after that, I mean, you had a lot of events, right? Where you got
yeah,
to
I
meet
mean
up with her.
the great team at Official Picks, you know, they were the best, and I'm so excited to see them coming back to Celebration this year. But
Mhm.
yeah, it just we you know this volunteer crew is it was a very tight knit group. It was it was virtually family. I have a story for these photos. Um, it was virtually family, and at the same time the Official Picks folks, they asked me to start working the Dallas shows,
Mm.
because they had the Fan Expo or Dallas Comic Con and Sci-Fi Expo and all Dallas Fan Days and all that. So, and this is kind of where this crew really cut their teeth, and built their bonds, is doing these Dallas shows. So they're like, look, if you really want to get into this, you got to come to Dallas.
Mhm.
So a few months later, I went to Dallas, and I was training to be quote unquote a red shirt,
Mhm.
which is kind of like a lead volunteer and whatnot. So went to Dallas, had some really good experiences there, met some amazing people. There's like I loved everybody at
Mhm.
on the volunteer team in Dallas. Like they were great, and it was like going 3-4 times a year to
Yeah.
Dallas was
Oh,
awesome.
wow. Okay. So it's
But yeah, then we did some Dallas shows, and then Celebration Anaheim. That was like the my favorite show, the best show of all shows.
Very cool.
We all kind of had, because we were building up our experiences with different guests. So like different people on the team would work with different folks. Some would work, photo ops. Some would be kind of floaters to help on the floor, and everybody helped each other out. Everybody really took care of each other, because it's all about the fan experience. You want the fans to get the best experience they can get. You want the guests to be happy, the ones that are there signing and taking 1,000 photos and running around and not eating and all that. And you want you want the manager, you want the show happy.
yeah.
So this crew of volunteers, like every single one busted their butts to put on the best show wherever, in whatever area they were working in.
Yeah.
Anaheim was an amazing experience. Carrie was like on fire. This was the Force Awakens panel. Mark Hamill was there. This was a huge show, a huge moment for Star Wars, for the Star Wars community as a whole. It was like we got the Force Awakens trailer. The energy was high. You're seeing Force Episode 7 stormtroopers walking around. So these photos here, we started a thing where every time we were saying goodbye, we would take a selfie.
Mhm.
And a couple shots before this, we're taking a selfie, and I got the phone out, and she's like, "Oh, it's blurry. Take another."
Yeah.
And we took another, and she's like, "Oh, I look depressed. Take another." And I took another, and she's like, "Oh my God, it doesn't look right." She goes, "Just shut up and kiss me." So
Oh man,
we kissed, and we take the photo, and
that's such a cool pic. And literally, you became the like the most envied person of like a
and I mean,
generation,
look,
right?
we busted our butts for that show, and
Yeah.
her line never ended, and we were there into the dark every single night of that show. um, the glitter was in full force. So the glittering was tough because it always slowed down the line.
Yeah.
The fans loved it because they're like, okay, they get their signature, they get glittered, and they leave with this amazing experience. But the show management, they we got to speed up. We got 8 billion people here. We got to get through. And I felt like there was always this endless ocean of people.
Yeah.
It just never ended,
I
you know?
I remember that. I remember I had a plaque ready to go. I wanted her to sign on at that celebration. And when I got there, I saw the line. I was like, I'm gonna be there all day. Like I can't, And it was just I ended up not doing the line, but Yeah, I remember that show.
Yeah, it was that we busted our butts. I mean, to the point where the line was so full. A funny moment. It's like she's like, "I need a break." Like Gary, the dog needed to go out. She needed a break. And it was a terrible time to take a break
Yeah.
because you
Yeah, I
literally have
remember
like
that. I
hundreds
remember.
of people like staring at you, waiting for their turn.
You're
Yeah.
right.
And she sees a fan in the line and I wish I would have sent you guys this photo, wearing the slave Leia bikini, but it was
Yeah.
all white. It was an all white slave Leia bikini.
Mhm.
She's gorgeous girl, and Carrie's like, "Yay, come here, come here," and she's like, so we help her through the line to the front, and
Yeah.
Carrie tells her sit on the table. So she sits on the table, and we don't know what's happening. She clearly has an idea,
Yeah.
but like, myself, the other volunteers, management, like none of us were like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
And she gets one of her black Sharpies, and she on the fan's breast, she writes, "Wait here."
So she was the placeholder,
It
kind
was
of.
the placeholder. So
Oh
like,
man.
yeah, I wish I had sent you that photo.
Yeah,
I'll
you
send it
can
after.
if you want. Like while we're doing this, you could always send it to my like Instagram or whatever if you have it, and I could pop it up.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
Doug,
yeah, she writes wait
that's so
here,
cool.
and then we go back and we're walking the dog
Yeah.
behind, we're walking Gary behind the convention center. She's getting her break, the whole thing. And we come back and this poor girl's still sitting on the table.
Oh jeez.
She probably had no problem with
And
it,
then
though.
we came back and Carrie started drawing on her back, and then she did her autographs, and then we
Yeah.
got things moving again. But yeah, that was, and then that show, she never got to go shopping. She never got to go look around
Oh,
because
it's so,
we were so busy.
yeah.
And the show was over, and we're in the little golf cart. We're supposed to go and close up shop and get her
Mhm.
on her way.
Yeah.
And she jumps off the golf cart and just starts running towards the dealers who are all tearing down their booths.
Oh geez.
And um, her manager looks at me. He's like, "Follow her, follow her." So I go chasing after her, and she's literally like, "I want that, I want that, give me that one, I need that one, I want that poster, I need that doll." Like she's literally just buying stuff.
Buying stuff. Yeah.
But she just ran off the golf cart, and like they're all of course all these dealers are like they're in hog heaven because they're like, "Oh my god, Carrie Fisher is like okay," and they're like bending over backwards, starting to crowd her a little bit. But they've got this pile of stuff, and she's moved on to the next booth and the next booth, and they look at me and they're like, "Are you paying?" Like I was like, I get her assistant over, and they take care of the finances and all that.
Yeah.
But it was like I had this moment of like she's running away. I'm losing sight of her. Like I can't see her now, and I'm like I've got all this stuff
Yeah.
that she was buying.
Oh man.
So
That's
but yeah,
I mean, that's awesome because that's a great insight into. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't know this, right? I mean, we all know, Carrie was just so much fun and energetic, but these kinds of stories they're great to hear because you really get an insight into her personality. I
yeah,
love it.
larger than life.
Yeah.
They're unlike the line in the films. There will never be another.
No. Yeah.
That I believe. It's crazy, Doug, and I know there's a lot of the viewers that might think the same thing that didn't get the opportunity to meet her for a signing or just to meet her. Period. I regret so much because I was at that Anaheim and I waited. It's the first time and only time to this date that I've ever waited in a line. It was with Mark Hamill, but who would have known? But still, just to have known her, what an honor because she's just what if you don't mind because not everybody's had the opportunity to meet her. How was she? I mean, obviously we know how outgoing and she was, but just she was just a life force, wasn't she?
Totally, and everybody who was in proximity to her we all felt it. There's an electricity that, this was actually the last photo I took with her.
Oh man.
I bet
This
that was
was this
pretty
was at
devastating.
Celebration London in 2016 in July.
Wow, you went to London.
I actually went to both London celebrations. The company I work for has an office in London, so I was able to kind of like, hey,
Yeah.
I can go to the office for a few days. I just need a few days to do this little convention thing. Yes, there we are with
I
her
love
favorite
it.
finger.
So are you? I know Gabe's gonna probably ask you this, or probably already knows, but are you coming back to Celebration?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are
Yes.
you going to be doing the signings and stuff, helping out with that?
I'm to be determined, to be
Gotcha.
announced, I guess.
Yeah.
Again, I'm so excited that Official Picks is back. And I know that they are figuring it all out.
No.
And I'm excited to see how it all shapes
Pans
up.
out. Yeah, I'm sure there's a line from here to there of volunteers, right? That want to be a
Yeah.
part of that, huh?
Yeah, I bet. Hey, and Doug, so obviously sometimes you were there volunteering, but some other times were you there just as a fan that you got to go and see, or most of these pictures you're still kind of in that role?
No, I think every photo that you're showing is like, yeah, it was, a working
A
experience.
working experience. But it's just such a crazy cool, experience. Obviously, look, you got to keep the sign, which we saw on your shrine,
Yeah,
right?
it's actually at the top of the shrine. It's
Yeah.
funny, I had this in my office at work for a few years,
Yeah.
obviously till pandemic said, hey, stay home.
Yeah. No.
This was in Dallas. This was our farewell selfie in Dallas in 2015. So there was she had commissioned a documentary about, her and her mother that was going to air on HBO. One of the directors, Alexis from the crew, was actually, her and her business partner Fisher Stevens, famous actor. They were doing a film that was going to air on the Discovery networks. I work for Discovery, so we actually had a connection. While they were following Carrie around the world, filming for this documentary, they came to this show in Dallas to film. And if you see the film Bright Lights, starring Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher, there is a nice segment about Carrie at conventions, and a lot of the Dallas volunteers were featured. So that was a huge like moment for the Dallas crew. Many of them who were so close to her, and then to be featured in that film, just going back to how hard everybody works and how tight knit of a family it was, to see like all the orange shirts and the red shirt volunteers to be featured on the film alongside her. Like, that was a huge moment for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And the documentary is called Bright Lights.
Bright Lights.
Bright Lights. Nice. So I know I kind of got. Is this one was at what Celebration?
So that's Celebration 4 in LA.
Right.
Yeah, that was the first time I actually had a conversation with her, and we talked about, I name dropped my friend, and we're talking about her baby, and that whole thing.
Cool.
So when we were in the car in New Jersey, I brought that up again to say, I don't know if you remember my friend who's your tour guide. Oh yeah, she drove us around and she took great care of us. So it was like another way to connect and maintain that familiarity.
Yeah. No, that's so cool, man. And guys, we have a lot to show, but I wanted to get to Carrie first because it just obviously we all have such a great, kind of fond just memories of what she meant to us, right? As growing up with kids. And for a lot of us, she was our first love, right? Like, it was our first crush, right? It was just
and such a female role model for little girls who were into Star Wars, who were into sci-fi, who were into action. Not everybody's into Snow White and Ariel.
Yeah.
They want a princess that can kick some ass, and
Robin
and
Baccarat.
Leia,
Yeah.
Leia, and and her vessel Carrie, fearless, balls out, fearless, ass kickers.
Yeah, man, that's so cool. I thank you for sharing though. That's such a cool experience that you got to got to have with her. I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah,
And
it's special to all of us.
yeah. So obviously through those conventions you've met a ton of people. So let's go through some of these folders, and obviously the the legend, the man, the legend right here, Mark Hamill. So these, did you get to work some of his tables, or you're kind of?
I did. You know, the through official picks, you know, the volunteers, you could have the same assignment through a whole show, or you could have a different assignment every day, or a different assignment every 4 hours.
Mhm.
You move around where you're needed. Celebration 5, actually, well, let me back up. My first Mark Hamill experience was at the 2007 London show, and I was just there as a fan. I wasn't working. I was just, you know, was kind of on a European tour with my family, and I conveniently planned it around that show. So, and I gotta say, doing 2 celebrations 3 months within each other, because Celebration 4 in LA was in May,
Yeah.
and then Celebration London was in July.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're every year, right? They flip flop every year, right?
Yeah, but my feet hadn't recovered from LA yet by the time we got to London.
Yeah.
But yeah, I Hamill, that was his, if I remember correctly, that was his first celebration appearance, and I was like, I need to meet Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
And the folks at Cool Waters had brought him, and I remember, you know, his autograph tickets were 80 pounds, and when I did the calculation to American dollars, I was like, oh. But I still did it, and my autographing, like, I always have to have a figure signed, and I want an 8x10 signed. Like, that's how I do my autograph collecting, you know.
Mhm.
And then if there's other things that come along, I might add them. But if I'm meeting somebody the first time, at a minimum, I bring a figure,
Mhm.
and an 8x10.
Mhm.
So I had my figure, and I had my, and I was going to get an 8x10 from the table. So I'm in Hamill's line, and it's long, and they had broken the tickets up by times, and something went awry with the scheduling, and one time got moved to another time, and yeah, that's it from London.
Mhm.
And this is a funny story. 2 groups got meshed in the same line. Like there's like a 10 a.m. group and a 2 p.m. group, and somehow they all got meshed into the same line
Mhm.
through no fault of Cool Waters. It was just lines just merged and got all messy. And in England, like maybe 2 people in front of me started arguing about, like, what are you? I've been in this line for X hours, and no, you get out of my line. Don't try to cut me. And so it was an Englishman and Irishman. They start to brawl
Oh,
in the line,
I like it.
and there's a
Election
false
wars.
wall next to us that starts to shake, and you know I mean, they're going at it, like they're throwing fists and knocking each other down, and people are like, the crowd is growing, the wall is shaking, and I'm standing there. I'm like, oh my god, like, we're gonna get my butt kicked in London. I'll be part of this massive brawl. And I just happened to see the front of the queue line, and Hamill's at his table, and I see him look out over his booth, and he yells, "Call me when you sort it out!" And he darted out of there.
oh
He
man.
was gone. He was gone. The false wall fell. Like, the
Wow.
place kind of erupted in chaos. Everybody was like made to disperse. They put it all together again. You know, the show management came out. They're like, okay, if you have this ticket, get in this line. If you have that ticket, get in that line. And they repaired the damage, and you know, everybody got their turn and got to
Mhm.
meet Mark. And you know, that was my first experience
Wow.
with
Oh,
Hamill. And then
man.
3 years later,
You were holding your action figure so they didn't
I
mess
know,
it up.
oh
crumpled
yeah.
it
Well, this is before I had discovered star cases too. So it's like I've got my vintage Empire Strikes Back Luke figure, and I'm like, oh my god, like, it's gonna get destroyed.
Oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah, that was a funny story. But yeah, jump ahead about 3 years to Celebration 5 in Orlando, and a buddy of mine was volunteering with me with official picks, and I don't remember which day it was, but we both got assigned to Mark Hamill's signing table.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, I was like, we hit the big time. Like, oh my gosh, we hit the lottery. Like, how did this happen? And my friend was basically at the entrance to his line, and I was at the exit. So it was my job to, after folks had their stuff signed, help them get their stuff out so we can just keep the flow going.
Yeah.
And when he arrived, like you could cut the tension and the excitement like with a chainsaw, because he was surrounded by people like management and security, and there's tons of people. In addition to all these fans who are so anxious, and the volunteers, we're all Luke Skywalker, like Hollywood royalty, like, oh my gosh, like our childhood hero. And we got things going, and I had seen a lot of autograph lines at this point. I had never seen things like what started coming through that line. This is when I got the sense that like dealers were coming through.
Yeah.
I know it's been going on probably forever, but I just hadn't really experienced that. Like people were coming through with like 30, 40 items, and they're all blue taped, and they've got like sign here in this color, like all the instructions prepared and everything. Stuff that's very common today with the private signings and the send-ins and all that stuff. But in 2010, when you pretty much are only doing in-person signings, like they were coming through, and I could start to tell the difference between the fan who was there to meet their hero and then the dealers, and so could they.
Yeah.
And I remember this one, let's just say this one attendee was there, tons and tons of items, and we're shifting them through, and you got to keep count, you got to know how many. It's like, okay, 15, 16, 17, and then they get to the end of the pile, and another print just kind of comes through the line, and everybody's questioning, like, what did no, was this in the pile, was this supposed to be there? And the guy's like, oh yeah, that's number, we'll call it number 35. I'm just making a number up. And the management's kind of getting on them, and like they're starting to get a little tense with each other. And Mark's like, I got it. He's like, he gets his pen. He's like, I know what to do here. He signs it, and he writes, my best to eBay. And he hands him the photo.
Oh, that's badass. Hey, let me tell you, I what you said, and these are great stories. Gabe is right. So, but I will tell you, I remember because I was in the signing for myself, right? And he was kind of surprised because I had this $300 painting or picture I just picked up, and I wanted him to make it to Michael, from Mark Hamill, and he like kind of looked up at me like, "You sure you want it to your personal name?" But I was like, "Yeah," because I'm not selling my stuff. But I saw those, Doug. I saw those people, and you could tell that they could give two shits who he was. They were just on a mission to get. I saw him sign, and it was like crazy. It's crazy.
Kerching, kerching.
Yeah, that's a great story.
And it was funny because the guy was like, he was stunned.
Yeah,
stunned,
that's
and
awesome.
So I'm exit person, so I'm shuffling along, and as he's leaving, Mark's like, my best to eBay. It was great.
That's awesome.
Hey, Doug, have you? Because I've seen actually on eBay, right, and I've seen articles and stuff written how he would write silly things on there, right? Like he would make little funny quotes, or he would, kind of make fun of whatever he was signing. Did you see a lot of that? Like obviously working with.
So this photo you have right here. So this is from Celebration London. I was actually helping both him and Carrie at that show. Along with others, but being the London show, there were very few of us, like from the official picks team, and it was mostly like a London-based team. So, we had the London-based folks kind of managing the line, and then we were kind of taking care of the tables. And what I'm holding here is somebody brought him a Joker lightsaber.
Oh,
yeah. I'm just to share what that thought was, and he's like, Mark's like, you're giving this to me? Like, no, I don't need this. And he looks at me, he's like, do you want it? I'm like, huh? I ended up not getting it. He ended up taking it, and he gave it to his son. But this was me just like, where do I put this? I've got to put this somewhere.
Oh,
But no, at that show, like on this same day, this big, huge family came through. If my memory serves, they were from like Portugal, like they were European, and there were like 9 of them. It was a big family, and they come through, and I'm like, I greet them. You want them to have a good experience. Why? What are you getting signed? How are you? And they picked out a Force Awakens image, and they're like, can you sign to all of us, And I'm like, "Yeah, your name? No, all of us. And I'm like, how about a family name? Because I'd like that's a lot for him to have to write, and the line is very long. I'm trying to like give them some options. No, all of us, all of us. I was like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to do that.
Yeah.
So they shuffle forward, they get to the line, and of course, they ask him, oh, you sign for all of us, all of us. and he literally said the same thing I did. He's like, what about a family name? How about that? Like to the Smiths. And they're like, no, all of us. And he's like saying all their names, and they're very European, and we're not getting any of them. And Mark's like, I know what to do. And it reminded me of that Celebration 5. He's like, I know what to do. Go force yourself, Mark Hamill.
Oh,
And that's what he signed on the paper. He signed on the photo. Go force yourself. And he looks at me and he's like, I can say that, right? He's like, it's a different way to use the F word. Force you, force that. What the force? Force off. And he's like, that's we all have to use the F word this way. So my biggest takeaway from that show and my favorite lesson from Mark Hamill is a different use of the F word.
yeah.
That's hilarious.
Go force yourself.
Go force
Dude, I
yourself.
would have
Force off.
They probably
So-
didn't even realize it.
So what was funny is I had him sign a Force Awakens image for me at that show, and he signed it forcefully yours.
No.
Hey, can I just ask something? I know you probably can't say anything, but so could you tell how much he hated those movies or no?
How much he hated those movies? No, I don't. I know if there's any truth to that whatsoever.
Come on,
I
Doug.
never saw it.
Doug,
You know
come on,
what is
Doug.
interesting though? So Celebration London 2016,
Mhm.
they literally came off the set of The Last Jedi. But like Mark and Carrie, the whole crew, they came off the set of Last Jedi straight into Celebration. They were so tired, and they were still kind of processing, the film that they had just completed.
Yeah.
And people were asking him like, oh, The Last Jedi, what do you need? Or the next film. I don't think we knew the title yet, but it was like the next film. We're so excited to see you. And he was saying in the line to people, oh yeah, we'll see what you think. It's going to be a little different, and and I was trying to like at the time, I was just kind of like, well, okay, well he's older, so maybe he's not going to have a big lightsaber battle. Like I had no idea that we were going to get Jake Skywalker and not the Luke Skywalker that we all wanted to see again. 30 years older. But I could tell that he just had uncertainty about the movie that they had just made.
Hang on, guys.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Hey, hang on. Doug, I know you're not able to watch the show all the time, but there's this guy. His name's Matt. And he comes on this show.
This Matt.
And he comments this ridiculous things. Like this one. Mike's going to be upset that Mark doesn't make the sequels. Matt, he hates the freaking sequels. There's like 100 videos you can actually watch, and they're not made up, Chief. Come on, dude.
That's
all right, sorry,
funny.
Doug.
All right. That's good.
No, but I will say, having worked with them coming off of the filming of The Last Jedi, being in London with them at that time, and then obviously Carrie's passing, before the film is released. The Last Jedi has a different place in my heart than most fans.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's
Yeah,
we
I have a very emotional feeling
yeah,
about the Last
that's
Jedi.
absolutely understandable.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, especially you had these experiences with Carrie. I mean, totally understandable. Yeah, because we're seeing it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're seeing it as a you know this the overarching kind of story part, and we're nitpicking it. But yeah, you're seeing it as like a tribute, maybe almost, right? To
Oh
wow.
yeah, a little bit. I
yeah,
mean, well,
yeah.
except when Ryan Johnson like blew her out of the ship, like I literally like I couldn't. I was like I couldn't believe that was in there. I was like, you
Yeah.
gotta be kidding. That was very jarring for me.
So you know what? I don't think there's many of our viewers, including me, that can say that they remember where they were when they found out that she passed away. I remember when it happened. I remember where I was outside my property when I found out. I was with my son when I found out that she did pass. It was awful.
No.
It was awful.
Yeah.
And then her daughter. Did you get a chance, Doug, to ever meet her daughter?
You know what's so funny? I have not, but my husband and his best friend, in the early 2000s, she actually had she had bought, built a relationship with with my friend and invited them out to her home in LA. So I want to say sometime in 2000, maybe early 2001, they went out to LA and spent some time in her house. And my husband's got stories of playing with Billy as a little girl, and I think like with Courtney Love's kid came over and they're in the pool together or something.
Wow.
So and we actually have photos from that they all took inside Carrie's house. So I never met Billy, but my family has.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Man,
Just like
that's
her
so
mom.
cool. Yeah. Look
So
at
this was the our farewell in London.
that.
We survived the weekend. He still has his last Jedi look. Yeah, this was parting ways at the end of a of a long hard weekend.
Man, that's so cool. Man, so there like literally two royal like Star Wars royalty that you've had multiple encounters with, but we're not done. I mean, you
Yeah, and please, I have to say, I have no idea how this happened. I am so blessed. I just wanted to volunteer and be part of the show,
yeah,
and the fact that things, the universe had this sequence of events
yeah.
that took place. I am so grateful for all these experiences. I am so thankful to the people who gave me the opportunity to have
Mhm.
those experiences, and the trust that they've had in me, through the Star Wars shows and beyond. I just love being part of the show. I love helping the fans have an experience. I love taking care of the guests. I love taking care of the team, and just, it comes like, I don't know. My whole life, I've always been in some sort of customer service. My first job was at a movie theater. I work in TV. TV is providing a service. We bring you, all of you,
Yeah.
content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, nights, holidays, weekends, like TV
Yeah.
never stops. So we're always like, I've always been a service provider, and to be able to be part of these shows and to provide a service to the fans and see everybody's face light up, because most fans, when they're in line, they're cranky.
Yeah.
They're waiting, their feet hurt, they're sweating, they're hot, they're surrounded by people, we're all breathing on each other. And when they get to that table, I want them to be greeted with a smile. I want them to feel like, okay, they're about to have something really cool happen.
Well,
So
Doug, you're a fan too. I mean, that you can't
totally.
leave that out. That's like a big part of it that you see yourself. You're not just doing it as a job. You're doing there because you grew up with these people.
Yeah. Look, if you had told me, when I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater, that I'd be driving Carrie around in my car and she's singing, serenading, me and Tracy, the volunteer director, as we're driving to the convention in the morning, like singing, making up songs on the fly with our names in them. You're crazy. That's not Fantasyland.
Right?
You know?
But look at all these other cool people we've met. I mean, obviously, Ahmed Best here, and we're gonna kind of skip. Like, I'm gonna go through them, and if you stop me, if you kind of something
Okay.
jumps up at you, because I'm sure you have
Yeah.
great
You
stories.
know what? I was so excited that Ahmed came to Celebration Chicago. I enjoyed Jar Jar. Husa. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
enjoyed
Matt's
Jar Jar every
favorite
day.
character too.
Andy Serkis. This was in Rhode Island. The Celebrity Authentics folks had brought him out to this show. He is the most gentlest, sweetest man that you could meet. My mother-in-law was with me at this show, and she was just like, "I just want to take him home."
Yeah, he
Like
seems pretty
he
cool.
was super
Yeah.
awesome.
Especially after like he all his roles are very like kind of menacing, right? Almost
Yeah,
like
and,
his voice is just
and he's really like this polite, soft-spoken little gentleman.
Mhm.
You know.
uh,
This was Celebration 4,
Anthony Daniels.
2007.
Yeah,
This guy doesn't even look like he's ever aging. You know,
I
Anthony
know,
Daniels.
right? Anthony Daniels like looks
Yeah,
the
he's in
same.
great shape, man. Jeez.
Yeah, got Ashley.
Yeah, this was just a few weeks ago
Yeah.
here in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah. I'm tomorrow. I was gonna go. I was planning to go see her and get a plaque sign, but I realized I incorrectly made the wrong size plaque. So now I'm gonna have to wait for Celebration because
Uh,
I need the right one. But I mean, I might still go because
Ashley and I, we put together that we worked at Walt Disney World at the same time in entertainment. Yeah, she was at well, at the time, MGM Studios, and I was at the Magic Kingdom. But we were both in entertainment at the same time, because so some people kept telling me like, "Oh, you worked with her." I was like, "I don't think I worked with her." So I finally was able to ask her. I was like, "Can you please just help me set the record straight? If and when did you work for Walt Disney World?" And she shared, what her role was. I'm like, "Okay." So we definitely were there at the same time, but we did not work together.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so cool. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
Ashley and Matt. This was in Rhode Island last year.
Yeah. Man, that's so good. Oh, the
The Fets.
Yes.
So this was, I'm in Northern Virginia near DC, so I tend to go to the East Coast, a lot of East Coast shows now.
Mm-hmm.
So and Rhode Island Comic Con is a very good show. It's the largest show in the smallest state, as they put it. But those promoters, like, they are big Star Wars fans. They bring in a big Star Wars audience. Carrie was actually supposed to attend this show, and myself and my friend Tony, big official Pix volunteer, wonderful guy. We both, we went up to Rhode Island. We were supposed to work with Carrie that weekend. She ended up canceling, so we ended up working with the Fets instead.
That's so cool.
Can you tell us? Because, like, for me, I know Jeremy and I know Daniel. Who are the two on the left? I'm sorry.
So the far left is John Morton.
Okay.
So he was Dak in The Empire Strikes Back as
Very
well,
cool.
but he's become fondly known as Bespin Boba.
Okay.
So he wore the suit for a couple shots on Bespin, and then Dickie Beer next to me to my right. He was Return of the Jedi, like, stuntman Boba.
Very cool. Did you know all that, Gabe?
I did.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool, man. That's cool.
Chris Bartlett. This is Rhode Island this past year.
Yeah.
And I don't know who he is.
So Chris Bartlett, he plays a ton of different characters in The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. He was Zero, like the assassin droid. He doubles. He's worn the C-3PO suit a few times, at some very high-profile events for, instead of Anthony Daniels.
Yeah.
Pretty much, if you see a droid, I think in The Mandalorian that is
That's him.
thinly shaped, it's most likely Chris Bartlett.
Very cool.
That's cool. Yeah, damn it.
Daniel. So this was with Gary at Celebration Orlando in 2017. So this is after Carrie had passed. Her assistant, who ended up keeping Gary, came to the show, brought Gary, and Gary did photo ops at
Oh,
Daniel's
That's so
table.
cool. That's
that
really
is so
cool.
cool. Oh
So
man.
yeah, so Celebration Orlando was the first celebration since I had started working celebrations that I actually didn't work. I attended because Topps had taken over as the autograph licensee, so that the Official Picks like volunteer crew were all kind of finding their next gig and moving on in different directions. So I wasn't sure if I was going to work shows anymore or what I was going to do. I just hadn't kind of figured out my next move yet, so I just attended. And I was having Celebration 3 flashbacks as I was waiting in the
Yeah.
line to enter in the morning and standing in a couple of lines
Yeah.
throughout the show. But fortunately, there are some wonderful people in the Star Wars community and in the Official Picks community, and they let me have this moment with
Yeah.
Daniel and Gary.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, with Filoni.
Dave.
Dang.
So this we are at Rancho Obi-Wan. The gala strikes back. So every year, Steve Sansweet in Petaluma, California, Rancho Obi-Wan pre-pandemic would have a big gala, for their annual fundraiser. And I attended in 2016, and Mr. Filoni also attended, and
Wow.
here we are. This is my second chat with him, and we're again we're talking about animation. I'm kind of reminding. I was like, yeah, I was we met a few years ago. Worked for the Hub, Transformers Prime, blah blah blah, blah. And we started talking about keeping animation alive, and
Wow.
cool conversation.
That's so cool.
Talk about someone that George Lucas took under his wing.
Amen.
All right.
Man.
And it was so funny. He's wearing an Episode 8 jacket in that photo, and I just like the things that were probably in his brain at that time. Like I just have to wonder. I'm like, wow, what did he know even then?
I know. That's cool.
Emily Swallow, the armorer. I love her. I actually last when the pandemic began in 2020, after I had gotten the desk, a friend of mine who is a friend of Joey Fatone from NSYNC calls me on May the 4th, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, what you doing?" And I had actually taken the day off for May the 4th. I was like, "I'm actually sitting here watching Star Wars." He's like, "So Joey has this YouTube show. It's kind of like a music guessing game show, but we're doing a Star Wars version. And can we have you and your desk on?" And I'm like, "Sure, yeah." So I had planned to spend the whole day in my pajamas watching Star Wars movies, and I ended up having to put myself together, clean the desk, and they have me on this Joey's YouTube show, and we're playing a Star Wars music guessing game, and he brings on Emily Swallow, who was the armorer.
Yeah.
So I actually had a photo printed. It's basically of us in like our Zoom chat, but it's like Joey, Emily, me with my desk. I had that printed, and I had them both sign it.
Oh, that's really cool.
And so it was like a year and a half between because they were both in Rhode Island at the same time last year.
Yeah.
So I bring the photo, and Emily's like, "This was you? I have talked about this desk so many times."
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool to be able to show her that. Be like,
actually,
hey,
that's the photo I'm holding. That's the photo I'm holding.
I can tell right there.
Quad split of the Zoom meeting. So you see me with the desk and her and Joey, and
that's so cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
Man. Oh.
Felicity. So yeah, Celebration Orlando.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, I was in my Rogue One phase.
Yeah.
So I
think we all were, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you ask any Star Wars fan, and they're like, Rogue One is their like favorite child, right? Like it's like it's like the grandchild.
Exactly.
She's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah,
mine too. Far from Death Star. Oh, badass!
So this is a fun one for me because at work every year I host an Oscar and like a predict the Oscar winners game, and I'll do like a Twitter trivia game, and every year I'll ask because it's the Oscars, like how many Oscar winners has Doug taken a photo with, And at the time, it was 1, and this is the photo.
Look at Matt. Matt coming
Dude, he's
over here.
just trying to piss.
Matt
Dude,
trying
you
to
know what?
troll.
He's just trying to piss me off.
You're
Don't even
just trying
give
to
him
troll
the gratitude.
Michael.
Dude,
I love it.
dude, I can't, Matt, bro. You know what, Gabe? You and him do. He does that on purpose. I know he does.
I don't know. No.
God damn,
Oh man,
freaking Matt, dude.
this is cool.
Yeah, Giancarlo. That was Rhode Island last year. So this was the second show I attended post pandemic, or I guess we were still in the pandemic.
Mhm.
This was literally the first photo I took a mask off for,
Yeah.
and I had my mask on. Giancarlo comes around the table, and he says to me, "Boy, take that thing off your face."
No.
He's like, "We're trying to take a picture here. Take that thing off your face." I was so terrified. I'm like, "Oh my god." Okay, here we go.
That's cool.
That's cool. Oh man.
Hey, was
Oh,
Forrest?
look
did
at
you get a
this.
chance to- whoa, wait a minute.
Look at this,
So-
Michael.
So this is a funny story. So this was Celebration 5 at Walt Disney World, the last tour to Endor. I don't know if you guys, it was an after hours event that they had at MGM Studios when they were closing down Star Tours
No.
to rebuild it and everything. And I lived in Orlando for a very long time. A lot of friends worked at Walt Disney World. Some of them were in the VIP tours and cast events and all that stuff. And I could not get into they did a show like it was like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Last Jedi arc or something. Like did a Star Wars Indiana Jones like hybrid show. I couldn't get in. So I started like calling everybody I knew that worked at the park, and it was like, "Hi, can you help me? I can't get into the show." And my friend is like, "Okay, be here at this time. I'll get you seated." So I meet my friend. She gets 2 of us in. We sit down, and we're in a roped off section. And I really didn't think anything. I was like, okay. I thought maybe we're in like disabled seating, because we're kind of near the front of the stage. And we're waiting for the show to start, and I started noticing, I'm like, okay, Jet Lucas came in and he's sitting behind me. Lauren Peterson comes in, he's sitting right next to me. Anthony Daniels is sitting in front of me. I'm like, all these celebrities start coming in and they're sitting like all around. I'm like, me and my friend are like, what? How did we get here? Like, how is this happening? And all of a sudden I hear Jet behind me, Dad!
Oh,
And I look around and, Jet's, tall kid even at that time. And he yells, Anthony, get my dad. And Anthony Daniels turns up and looks around and kind of rolls his eyes a little bit. And he leans forward and he's like, George, turn around. So this is George standing up, turning around, going, what? And I just went,
yeah. Oh man, that is such a cool story.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. When he stood up and turned around, I went pale.
Yeah.
I was like, the maker.
Yeah.
I was like, I waited for like 11 hours in the snow and rain in Indianapolis just to get a glimpse of him from way far back in this panel room.
Yeah.
And there he is, just sitting like 2 rows in front of me.
I know, that's the guy that made it all happen. Isn't that crazy? It's so surreal. I remember I was talking to Andy Gutierrez. I don't know if you've ever met her, with the Star Wars show, and me and her were chatting at the stage. Was it Chicago? I think it was Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just BSing, and all of a sudden it started getting chaotic. And she's like, I gotta go. And she jumped up and went to the mic and said, and she looked like she was like, oh my gosh, but she was like, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. George Lucas, and then introduced, Harrison Ford, which was not a big deal to me, but when George Lucas came, no, I'm serious.
What?
But when I saw George come out, I mean, I've got pictures. I'm literally like from you to like you guys were, and I'm just looking up at him like, Dad.
Yeah.
I can tell you, man. I'm the guy that I'm sorry I got arrested for on your property. I'm not a stalker. I'm not,
Oh
So,
man,
man,
that's such a cool
I would love
story,
to be able to just spend 30 minutes just bullshitting.
dude. And I love the fact that you're wearing the shirt. Like you
Yeah.
always have your shirts like spot on. Like
Yeah, photo ops has become like, almost an art form. Celebration 6, when they started doing the professional photo ops. At first, it was such a novelty. I was like, oh my gosh, take it like a posed professional photo. Wow, that's so cool. But as time went by, it was actually the Dallas shows is where I started getting inspired. Like I was seeing fans come through and they would like plan crazy poses. And then John Barrowman, I don't know, if you know him, like Doctor Who and Arrow. John Barrowman started doing some of the craziest photo ops. And he would literally ask you if you come in naughty or nice, and if you wanted naughty, you got naughty, and if you wanted nice, you got nice, and people would get creative. And I was like, okay, so a photo op at most is a 7-second experience, and because I know because I've had to count it.
That's crazy.
It's a 7-second experience. So I was like, I just want my photo ops to be, I want to theme them. I want them to like be meaningful, not just wear like a generic whatever shirt when I'm seeing photos. I'll actually bring like a handful of shirts with me to conventions and change before photo ops.
Oh, that's
just so I could theme it.
Yeah, she's a beautiful lady too.
This show,
Man,
this was also in Rhode Island, but this year, this particular show, I think I saw Robert Englund, Star Trek characters, Gwendolyn, and the photographers for celeb photo ops. My friend Kitsy Duncan, who is amazing and an icon in her own right. Every time I came through, she's there with the camera and she's like, "Will you stop?" Like another one. Like I remember with Robert Englund, I had this Freddy shirt on and it was the glove and it said "free hugs."
No.
And he looked at that and he's like, "That's really good." So I like it when they get a kick out of it as well.
Yeah. No, I mean that makes sense. Like, what? Oh, this is cool.
Hayden, his first show is Orlando. I was actually nervous meeting Hayden.
Yeah.
I was like, it's Anakin
Skywalker,
the chosen one.
Was he shy?
He was quiet-ish.
Yeah.
Polite.
Is it Doug? How tall are you? Like, is he? Are you? Tall?
I'm almost 5'11", so
okay. So
he's got
not,
like what, an inch and a half on me.
Yeah. Okay. That I always wondered like if he's
I
like
figured he was like 6'4". Me too.
Yeah,
Jay.
me too.
Yeah, he's not Prowse height.
Wow. That's a cool picture.
So when I wear the Vader costume, I'm Hayden accurate.
Yeah. I love this that you're wearing.
So yeah, this is myself and my brother-in-law. This is in Chicago.
Yeah.
Obviously it was an election year, and I had found these. When these two were announced, I was like, okay, I've got to do a campaign shirt. So my brother-in-law was a good sport. I got shirts for both of us, and it went in there again. 7-second experience, and I said to both of them, okay, thumbs up for the campaign, and Ian said, all right.
Man, it's for it. I mean, it's him. That's so cool. But see, I love that. I love that you're, you got a plan going in there. You with the shirts and everything. I mean, I think it just makes it more memorable for everyone, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Jay Lagaya. This was in London celebration, the first London celebration, 2007. Mm-hmm. We are much younger there.
Now he's the clone that's eating, right? He's like at the table.
No, he was Captain Typho. Padme's Captain of the Guard, episodes 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
I was wondering too, Gabe. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. We've actually kept in touch, like totally outside of shows. We've kept in touch through social media. I had a Star Wars Day at Discovery a few years back when Force Awakens was opening. I hosted a big event for our employees, and Jay recorded a video. Oh,
that's so cool
for all of our employees. So that was really cool.
That's cool.
John Boyega, that's my daughter.
Oh,
So he came here to DC
yeah,
in 2018,
yeah.
19, I can't remember. But yeah, this was like his first show, and of course I'm like, okay, I've got to show out. My
Mhm.
family had gotten me that jacket for Christmas, I think,
Yeah.
after Force Awakens came out. But yeah, brought my daughter, meet John
Oh,
Boyega. He
that's
didn't care about me. He was all about her.
yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
this
Talk about
photo actually got published in Star Wars Insider
Oh,
a few
nice.
months after. Yeah, they contacted me like, "Can we publish your photo? Because
Yeah.
John doesn't really do many of these." So yeah, we're,
Oh,
we're all about it. I may have bought like 20 copies of the magazine.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. Man, that's so cool. So, are you? Is your daughter a Star Wars fan? I know. I have three daughters, and I've struggled to kind of like get them really, into Star Wars.
When she was younger, she humored me.
Yeah.
I when she was 3, I actually brought her down to Orlando in 2014 and took her to
Mhm.
Star Wars weekends,
Yeah.
and I put her in a Leia dress,
Yeah.
and the folks there thought she was so cute. They actually put her in the like the celebrity parade
Oh,
that they
nice.
did. So Ahmed Best was there, Ashley Eckstein, I can't remember who else. Um, but like she's this tiny little 3-year-old, and they
Yeah.
get some other kids wearing like their Jedi costumes and their Vader costumes, and they're going down the parade route, and the parents are kind of like roped off,
Mhm.
outside the parade route, and I'm like watching my kid go down this parade with these celebrities,
Yeah.
and they get to the end of the route, which is right in front of the celebrity stage, and Ahmed Best gets out of his car, literally picks her up, swings her around, and then, heads up to the stage. And I'm behind the ropes, just tears streaming down my face. I'm like, oh, my best is playing on my kid. Trying to like take pictures from afar, but there's too many. I don't have any good shots of it. It's all a
Yeah.
blur. But and I've tried to like try to get her to understand like how significant of a moment that is. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's not impressed.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Not impressed at all. And
Yeah.
she said to me after that, because like Ashley like gave her like a little squeeze in the cheek or whatever. She's like, I want her to babysit me. So the next time I saw Ashley, I was like, so my daughter wants you to babysit her.
That's funny. Oh man. Man, that's so cool.
So this was actually this was Star Wars Day at
Mm,
Discovery. John Morton, who we saw as Bespin Boba in a photo
mhm,
earlier, he actually lives nearby in Maryland,
mm,
and I wanted to do Star Wars Day big,
mhm.
for my employees. So I had the 501st come out, a bunch of
Nice.
stormtroopers and an R2 builder,
Mhm,
and through them I got in touch with John's people,
mhm.
and yeah, he agreed to come to Discovery,
Oh,
and we did green screen photo ops, and he gave a little speech to our employees and talked about his movie career, and he stayed until every single employee got a picture. He even like walked around to people's workstations, introducing
oh,
himself and making sure everybody had their moment, like their Star Wars moment. And
yeah.
that's cool.
this was the day before The Force Awakens was released,
Mm,
and that night I was attending one of those like 24-hour marathons to
yeah.
watch all the movies in the theater leading up to episode 7.
Yeah.
So like I did this event, which was 3 months of planning and
Mhm. And then
to
went
pull it
right into
together, and finished that event, went home, took a little nap, and then I went and spent 27 hours in the theater.
wow.
No kidding.
Man, yeah, I remember that. I remember they were doing those 24 hours leading up to it.
Yep.
And I remember telling my wife, I was like, yeah, like I want to do it. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna sit there with you for 24 hours. I was like, fine.
But you know what I knew? Like the energy around episode 7, like our favorite characters coming back.
Yeah.
Because none of us really knew what the story was going to be and what it was going to look like. But
Yeah.
this was the sequel. I framed this up as, this is the sequel to Return of the Jedi. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
And this is never going to happen again.
Right.
Wherever Star Wars goes from here, there will never be an energy, an excitement, a fever
Yeah.
like we had
Right.
going into The Force Awakens in December
Right.
2015.
Yeah, 'cause
Oh,
they ruined it.
I got caught up in it as well. And in fact, I saw it. Obviously I had already been collecting this stuff for years at that time, but I immediately saw a jump in collectibles and in prices, and it was just like it exploded. The fandom exploded
Yep,
Mhm.
literally overnight. It was crazy.
totally.
Is it
So yeah,
the event?
me and my family, Star Wars Day. So that poster in the background,
Yeah,
so there are multiple images on that. You can see there's a Leia, there's a
Akbar.
Akbar, there's a young Boba, there's a Empire Boba, and then a Vader. Um, all of those actors personalized that poster to Discovery, and that is now hanging up at Discovery.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and I actually I was looking at it this past week in the office, thinking it's really unfortunate that three of the people on this poster are no longer with us.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting in a frame hanging on a nail like in
Okay.
our break room, and I'm
Yeah.
like, we should probably better secure this.
Yeah, right.
Did he pass away? Is he still alive, this guy?
So Jeremy Bullock was on here, Dave
Oh, okay,
Prowse,
that's
and
Jeremy. That's
Carrie.
Jeremy right there?
No.
Yeah.
He's talking about the poster.
Yeah, the
Oh, okay, my
poster.
bad.
No. John Morton's still with us.
Okay.
John Morton is still with us. But on the poster,
I
Jeremy
can't.
signed it, Carrie signed it, Dave Prowse signed it, and then Tim Rose and Daniel
I
Logan.
understand.
Yeah. So, but Carrie, Jeremy, and Dave Prowse, they're all not with us now. So,
Yeah.
I'm looking at that poster like I need to better. There it is, hanging in
Yeah.
the break. I need to better secure this because it's gonna grow legs and disappear someday.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Now, June, this is here in DC. This is
Mhm.
the same show as Boyega.
Mm-hmm. Man.
That you get a sense of our height difference.
Yeah.
That was in Rhode Island. This photo actually came first. The DC photo came later.
That's so cool. Have you had any experiences like obviously besides like Carrie and some of the celebrities that you worked with often, are there situations where they recognize you and you're like, hey, like you remember like this and
Ashley.
that? Ashley,
Ashley.
yeah. So is this the first one? This is
this was my Julian Glover, my first volunteer gig. The man who taught me how to run a table.
That's so cool. Oh, look at
Oh
Kenny
gosh.
Baker.
So this is a funny one. This is Celebration 6
Yeah,
That's
in
so
Orlando.
cool.
So I worked with Kenny and his team on the Saturday of that show, and I was a lone wolf. I had to do we were thinly staffed, and there were headliners who needed every spare hand they could get. So I pretty much had to do Kenny's line and booth single-handedly.
Oh,
And this woman came in, and I'm like, okay, what are you getting signed? And she's like, my back. And I was like, say that again. She's like, my back. I was like, really? I was like, let me make sure that's okay. So, I talked with his handler, his agent, and it was so they ended up having a conversation, and then she told him, she's like, no, I want him to see R2D2 is my favorite character. I want him to sign my back, and I'm gonna go get it tattooed like right here, right now.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
So he whispers to Kenny, and Kenny's like, yeah, come on, right here, sit on my lap. So he wanted her to just sit right down, and he very happily signed her back.
That's hilarious.
And he was laughing through the whole experience.
Yeah.
And everybody, everybody was just getting the biggest kick out of it.
That's funny.
That's so cool. Yeah, he's definitely one of the ones that I regret not getting his autograph. Like just
yeah,
especially being part of the like R2 builders and all that. Like, man.
I've got a really good one, Doug.
Yeah.
I've got a really good R2 with that he signed.
That's awesome. I want a life size R2,
Yeah.
but I don't necessarily need one that is fully functional.
Yeah.
But up here in the loft, I like that is definitely
Yeah.
on my bucket list. I would like a life size R2 up here that at
Yeah.
least beeped and had some light effects.
Yeah. The sideshow one does that. The sideshow one is pretty. It's like a static one, but it lights up and the sounds and all that.
Yeah. So then Laura Mary Kim, she's a stunt performer
Yeah.
in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was cool. I think this
She also,
was
she also did the mocap for
yes,
Ahsoka,
or
right?
Ahsoka in Clone Wars.
Yeah. That's cool. Oh, look at that.
Oh, so of all, okay, I take that back. Other than my combo mark and carry photo op from Celebration Anaheim, this was probably my most fun photo op. This was just this past year in Rhode Island, Mandalorian cast, and I had pretty much met everybody at this point. Just as a fan, walking up, getting stuff signed. Emily knew me, she remembered me from the desk. So yeah, that's somebody who remembered me.
Yeah.
And she apparently at dinner the night before, she told them all about the desk.
Oh.
So when I came in for the photo op, she's like, "Oh my, it's him! He has the desk! He has the desk!" So already it's like a big like, hey, you're here! Ah! So, but we're all trying to fit in this like tiny space to do the photo. So I'm like, I'm actually actually several inches in front of them, and I'm just like, ta-da! And then Carl Weathers is like, use the space! Use the space! Yes, I love it. So they all started chanting, use the space! Use the space! Like,
That's so cool.
it was, great moment. Tons of fun.
Yeah, Carl Weathers, man, that's an icon right there.
Yeah, definitely another legend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep, Celebration London with Peter Mayhew. He's actually signing that for a friend of mine. I have a friend at work. She's a big Wookiee fan. So.
Yeah.
And at the time, like, again, every time I went to a show or had an experience, like I always thought it was going to be like the only experience. Like this was my one shot to do something or to meet someone or get something signed. Like I never expected there to be another opportunity. So like my thing was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to bring her this, this photo that he signed from London. It's going to be huge. And, little did I know how many more, just blessed to be able to see these people again and again.
What's the Chewie? What figure was that? What card back was that?
That was a Return of the Jedi vintage collection.
I thought so. Yeah, that's what it looked like. Yeah.
Peter me.
So Peter again. This was here in the DC area at a comic store, Third Eye Comics. It was on my birthday.
Oh wow!
And it was the year I turned 40, and I just didn't have a plan for what I was going to do. I'm like, it's a milestone birthday. I need to do something big. And I could not think of anything to do. And then I saw the announcement for Peter coming to, this shop, this comic shop, to make an appearance. And I was just like, I'm going to go see Chewie for my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a good dude.
Man, that's so cool.
Yeah, he signed my Force Awakens Black Series.
Yeah.
So Doug, at Celebration Chicago, Tom was supposed to get those 50 head busts signed, the plaques signed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you remember, he got sick at that show.
Yep.
I met his assistant that lived in Houston, close to, because I'm in Texas also, where Peter lives. He lived a couple hours away, but anyway, I was able to get her to. She called me on my cell and said, "Grab that pouch." So I went and grabbed the pouch off that Chewy, and he signed it for me. And luckily, I was blessed to have that now. And then, of course, 3 weeks later, he passed away.
I know. I got a 40th anniversary Black Series signed at that show.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful I did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got to see him one more time. I got one
because he showed up and got sick, and then so they crammed 2 days of signings, if you remember.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
tough.
because he canceled on Thursday,
Yeah.
and then he showed up for a while on Friday. I
Yeah.
went to see him on that Friday.
Yeah, that's when I got my signature too, that Friday.
Man.
Yeah, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And here's now the second Oscar winner. I have to change my trivia. He just won an Oscar this past weekend, last week.
Oh,
Wow.
very cool.
That's so cool. Oh, that's the voice of with Darth Maul, right?
So
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
Sam Witwer is Maul and Taylor Gray is Ezra. So again, you have to really know Rebels, but I did this Maul Ezra photo op, and I am the Sith holocron.
Oh, there you go.
So I went in there and I said, Maul, Ezra, holocron, go.
Yeah.
And they played right into it. So
That's hilarious. So I'm barely getting caught. So I'm on season 4. So that's the last season, right? I think of Rebels.
yep.
So yeah, during the pandemic I finished Clone Wars and now I'm barely getting to Rebels. Great. It's like such a great series.
Oh yeah, I love
So
Rebels.
now I can appreciate this photo now.
Yes, good, excellent.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that they knew, like right there
Yeah.
that
Yeah. There you go.
this photo, oh gosh, I don't know. This photo kind of went down in infamy. This is, Celebration Orlando 2017.
Mhm.
There was a lot of like fan chatter. They're like, oh, they're not really taking very, very personable photos and all this
Mhm.
stuff. And you can see they're a bit distanced.
Mhm.
So after that one came out, I got teased.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think that was during the pandemic.
You kind of would. You might as well just put the plexiglass up.
That's funny.
Right. But was it
Hey, I'm
Oh,
sorry. I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
Gabe.
No,
I
go
was
ahead.
just going to ask you, Doug, do you think that they're going to have Plexi up for sure at Celebration?
You know, based on what I've seen at other shows, it's usually guest specific. If the guest requests it. But given
Okay.
that Celebration is a vaccination required show,
Right.
I would not. I'm totally speculating. This is just Doug talking. I don't
Of
know
course.
anything from anything.
Of course.
I kind of think they probably wouldn't have it, but again, any guests can request it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I kind of wanted to go to. I wanted to go to WonderCon tomorrow to kind of just scope it out and kind of just get a feel for what celebration might be like. Oh, look at this. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, Clone Wars in Chicago.
Yeah,
I love that group.
that's so cool. And then the
And
Rebels.
Rebels cast. So I came in and said, I brought Chopper.
Beautiful. Oh, Weird Al. That's so funny.
So yeah, this is actually at a Weird Al concert. I don't know what came over me. I was meeting a friend of mine in Orlando. I'm in Virginia. We met up in North Carolina, and we're like, okay, let's go to Al and let's dress up.
Yeah.
So I wasn't gonna wear the Vader suit. Plus, I'm not brave enough to wear because I'm too short. I will not wear the Vader suit in like amongst real fans because I'll just get red for filth. So I decided to wear just a standard Jedi costume, and it was great. The 501st were right there behind him, and I remember the guy taking the photos was like, guys, come on. So they had all the troopers like they're pointing their guns at me, and Al just looks up, does his thing.
That's funny. I love it. All right, so where should we jump to? We missed. Obviously I want to get through the Star Wars ones as much. So Star Wars weekends. So this is kind of you mentioned it a lot right before, like the Star Wars weekends.
Yep.
This is what it was, right? And can you just kind of briefly just kind of describe what that is?
So yeah, Walt Disney World for essentially 4 or 5 weekends a month in May and June every year from 2000 till 2014. I know there was a Star Wars weekends in like 97, but it was like a mini Star Wars weekends. they would every weekend they would bring in 2 or 3 celebrity guests, and they would kind of deck out the park with some extra Star Wars decor. They would do a Star Wars parade and a motorcade, and there's Anthony doing his thing in the motorcade. And you could get an autograph ticket for free, a free autograph and a free photo. Which
Wow.
would be unheard of in today's world,
Right.
for these guests. So Andy Seacombe, the voice of Watto, hey, you think you're some kind of Jedi?
He actually kind of looks like Waddle a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I can
No,
see
but
That's funny.
so this was Star Wars Weekends 2003.
Man.
Yeah,
That's
Ashley, this is like maybe 10 years later, 2013, 2012-ish. Yep, my first meeting with Jeremy, this was 2001.
Wow.
And you know what's so funny? I had him sign a shirt.
Oh, really?
And worst idea ever.
I could see it right there.
Yeah. He signed the fireball. It was his idea to sign the fireball. I brought the Boba shirt, and he, he's like, oh, I know what to do with this, and
No.
he signed the fireball.
That's funny.
And that autograph it bled in like a day. This was a year later. So 2002. Now I got it right. I had a Boba figure signed.
Nice. Yeah.
But this was also the year he published his book, Flying Solo, if I remember it correctly. And his wife Maureen was just a few feet outside the photo, and as as people are leaving, she's just kind of like, "Are you interested in our book? You come meet us at the hotel, and you can buy our book."
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm like, "You're inviting me to your hotel? What?"
Wow.
Like Boba Fett's wife's invited me to their hotel. Like, do I go?
That's
like,
hilarious. Did you go?
I did. Because my friend, a friend of mine was also his tour guide at Disney. So like, several of my friends worked in tours at Disney. So a lot of them were the tour guides for the Star Wars celebrities. They also did like the soap opera stars when they did their Super Soap weekends. But they would be the ones escorting these folks around the park during these events.
Me and my family, I mean, we go to Disney. We're going to Disneyland tomorrow. That's why I was going to go to WonderCon, because it's across the street. But we go pretty much every weekend or every other weekend. And that's our go. We look for the plaids. That's what we call them.
Yep, yeah. Those are your tour guides, your guest relations folks.
So as soon as we see a plaid, we immediately is like, what celebrities with them, and we kind of like try to scope them.
But a little bit of let's do some myth busting on that. Discovery.
All right, yes, please.
The plaids aren't necessarily celebrity tours. They can be any VIP tour. Like, you could walk in and buy a VIP tour and get your own plaid.
Yeah, no, that's what we kind of figured out after maybe like a year or two of like looking for them. We're like, celebrity or just rich person? No, it's rich person.
It's not even a rich person. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's too outrageous.
No, we've never asked the
what does it cost?
Yeah,
Doug?
what's it cost, Doug?
About.
I mean, back in those. I mean, it really depends on what you want and how long, and the level of celebrities. It's like, they would get picked up at the airport, and everything. Disney would handle everything, but like for somebody like us, we get a tour. It's basically when we show up to the park, guide us through the park, and then we exit the park.
Yeah. So what would that be like 4 digits, 5 digits?
No,
4 digits, definitely a couple thousand.
No, 3 to 4 maybe.
Oh,
digits.
Okay. All right. That's not all right. That's a good myth buster. So now we could put our guards down for the plaids.
And honestly, a celebrity tour, they're going through the corridors and the back doors and the secret entrances. It's going to be rare that you see them just parading down Main Street.
Yeah. Well, I've had some run-ins with some people like that, like with Jack Black. Like, he was coming in through the exit, we were exiting out, and we literally crossed paths, and I just like pointed. I was like, Wait, that was Jack Black. Jack Black.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So here you go, Dave Filoni.
Filoni, my first Filoni meeting. So this is 2011, 2010. This is like Clone Wars is still relatively new, and that's where we had our first like animation nerd talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't catch him at signings, I don't think.
No, not anymore. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe.
No.
I don't think so. That's kind of he's like the new George Lucas.
Yeah.
If you bump into him, you might be if you bump into him and he's got the hat on, you might be able to get something out of him.
That's cool.
Yeah, James Arthur Taylor, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I cannot do an Obi-Wan voice. This is my first Peter Mayhew photo, 2003 Star Wars Weekends.
Yeah.
Same day I saw Andy Seacombe.
That's so cool. Got David.
Yep, he's the one that started it all for me. He Star Wars Weekends 2000. Darth Vader was going to be there, and I was trying to convince myself to go see him. I'm like, okay, this is my favorite character.
Yeah.
What would I say? You know, how old was I? 20, 25? Yeah, I don't know. I was like, what do I say to him? I don't know. Do I bring something? Do I have so I had a Power of the Force Vader figure, you know, and I was just like, I'll bring this, but will he think it's like the whole time I'm like second guessing everything. Like, is he gonna think this is stupid? You know, is he gonna say no? Is he gonna say like, you know? But when I got there and I got into the line, which was only like 12 people deep.
Wow.
You know, I mean, this is kind of where things were because he and Jeremy and Peter Mayhew, they were on the Men Behind the Mask tour at this point. So they were all taking their turns, you know, at various weekends, at Star Wars weekends. And the average Disney park goer, this is the first full-blown Star Wars weekends, like they're just there and there's all this Star Wars stuff happening.
Yeah.
So it wasn't Star Wars fans hadn't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm local in Orlando. I've been seeing the commercials on TV. I'm seeing the billboards all over town. Like, I'm going to this Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
I got up there and he signed my figure. And I all I could think of was I thanked him for being here. And he says to me, "Well, I was here last time. Where were you?" I was like, I didn't know. But now I know.
Doug, have you seen that documentary, I Am Your Father?
Yeah. I've got a copy of it.
Yeah, I think I'm one of the only ones that has not seen that, and I wish I could.
Oh, and here's the figure that he signed.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Again.
I have
this is before I discovered star cases. Bubbles all yellowed now.
Yeah.
But I put it on the Vader shrine under the red lights. I'll put the light red on the LEDs, and can't really tell too much, but it's in a star case now. Sam Witwer, Star Wars Weekends, 2013. Same year, different day. 2014. This is the year I took my daughter down, and then she got in the parade and swung around by Ahmed Best, and we met Vanessa Marshall, the voice of Hera on Star Wars Rebels.
Got it.
Yeah, and I want to know she was not. No, I was gonna say she might have been the first celebrity my daughter met, but no, that was William Shatner.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he came to a small show here in DC, and it was literally like 2 miles from the house, and I'm just like, I gotta go see Shatner. He's like literally around the corner. How could I not? So I brought my daughter, and in typical form, my daughter's kind of earned this nickname of the golden ticket. Everywhere she goes, like everything just goes her way. Yeah. And Shatner was all about her and could not care about me. He's asking,
guy that's 91.
Are you in school yet? She's like, no.
What'd you say, Michael?
I said, yeah, Shatner. I mean, he just turned 91. He looks great. He looks like he's 70 or 69.
Yeah.
You know?
He was just at the GalaxyCon I attended in Richmond, and he was more spry and getting through his line faster than, the people have more than half his age.
Yeah.
Wow.
B-52s.
B-52s. We got What?
Oh
Oh,
yeah, Evangeline Lilly. So this was GalaxyCon just 2 weeks ago.
oh wow. And what did she play? Can you remind?
She is the Wasp
Wow, that's right.
in all
That's
the Avengers.
oh
She was
wow.
also on she was in the Hobbit movies as Toriel, one of the elves,
Yeah,
and she was Kate in Lost.
that's right. Oh man,
Yeah, I asked her a
oh,
Lost question.
this is a great picture.
So yeah, this honestly, other than this is my favorite non-Star Wars photo
Yeah,
op. Yeah, family photo with Superman and Wonder Woman,
yeah.
and this was hilarious because obviously the demand for these two was through the roof. They had a massive, massive, massive line.
Yeah.
Um, Again, my friend Kitsy would, she worked for Celeb Photo Ops at the time. She's doing the photography, and like they're trying to move people so fast, and we were like one of the only families there with a child.
Mm.
And we go in there, and Gal gets down on her knees, and she's like, "What's your name?" And oh, Maya. Gal has a daughter named Maya.
Oh wow.
So they start talking, and I'm standing there, like Henry's got his arm around us, around the both of us, and I'm looking down, and Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, is literally like having a conversation with my child. And again, I look up at the photographer, I look up at the, at my friend Kitsy with the camera, and she's like,
Hurry up.
"Come on!"
I didn't even realize that was Superman until you said
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, he was filming the James Bond, not James Bond, the Mission Impossible. So he had the mustache going.
Yeah.
But this was right around the time when the theatrical cut of the Justice League came
Yeah.
out. Harvey Guillen, this is from last week in Richmond.
That's cool.
What we do in the shadows.
Yeah.
James Jude Courtney, he's Michael Myers.
Myers.
He's the current Michael Myers.
Oh, very cool.
That's super.
Yeah, really nice guy. You couldn't leave his table without taking a photo. Like he's just like, he would sign, and whether you wanted a photo or not, he's like, let's take a photo. Like he's just a really great guy.
You know who's a lot like that is the guy that played Flash Gordon. What's his name? Forget his name. Jeez, I got his signature.
The one from the 90s?
Yeah, the 80s. Flash Gordon.
The one that came out after Batman on TBS.
I cannot remember. No, I'm talking about the one that you see in Ted.
Yeah, they're like super blonde.
Oh, Sam Jones.
Yeah, Sam Jones.
Sam Jones.
Yeah, he was super cool like that. He was pretty flirty with the wife, man. It's like, all right, dude, you can only rub her back.
Look at this one, Michael.
Dude, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, Linda Carter.
That was a tough. It was great to meet her, but this was an interesting one. It was basically very security heavy.
Wonder why.
I mean, she's the original Wonder Woman. It was very security heavy. It was like, do not touch her. Do not,
all these rules.
Yeah, lots of don'ts and very few do's.
Hey, you want to know who was that way also? I love these kind of stories, Doug. But what's the guy that was in Titanic? He was actually in the guy in Titanic. They
the one from
Back
the
to the Future. Billy something.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane. Total dick. I'm so sorry to say that, but the guy was just like complete. Nobody was at his table, and I just said, say hello, and if you weren't, anyways. Kind of felt sorry for him because there was nobody at his table. But
something to think about. Like nothing excuses behavior like that, but something I've learned, through the convention circuit, there comes this is part, especially for those, we'll call it late career actors, talent. This is their only income.
Yeah, and I get that for sure. Yeah, he looked like he was really bothered, because there was actually everybody was around him, but not going to him.
I love this.
Yeah,
and your T-shirt too.
This is one I thought long and hard about, with what shirt to wear, and I found that shirt, and I like that. face was genuine. I came in and he was just like, "Shut up!" Oh, and we took the big that.
That's amazing.
Uh,
Wow,
these
the
are
voice here.
heroes. Like, so when Star Wars kind of went dormant,
Yeah.
you know, in the couple of years after Return of the Jedi, and then I kind of turned towards that Transformers phase. Like Optimus Prime was my hero,
No.
and ever since conventions, I discovered conventions and conventions started, I was like, I need to meet Peter Cullen someday. And he was number one on my bucket list for years. And somehow he kept evading me. Like we just could not, I could not get it to get to
Yeah.
meet Peter Cullen. And MegaCon Orlando 2019, it finally happened.
Nice.
And I both of them, like they told great stories at their panel.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was their handler, and I got to hear some, a little bit about them behind the scenes. I was just so geeking out, happy to
Yeah.
meet these two voice legends.
Did they do the voice like while you were there, and then it wasn't?
They did in their panel, but not at the signing.
Yeah.
The signing was a little rushed.
Yeah.
But at the panel, they definitely, like, they told the story how they got their jobs and how Peter Cullen's brother inspired him.
Yeah.
Phil Donahue. So he was the first celebrity I ever met, and not knowing how we were gonna like do this show today, but so I met him through kind of like my TV career. I was in school studying broadcast, and we did a field trip to New York. We went to a bunch of different shows. We got a tour of HBO. We went to Letterman, and we went to Phil Donahue. And we got to see a little bit behind the scenes, talk to the crew, and then Phil actually came out to meet all of us, and we all took our photos. And I thought this was the biggest thing ever. Again, you never think you're going to have an experience like this.
Yeah.
It was funny. He did his show. That show he did that day was the first introduction of virtual reality, like for people to experience, like putting on, like at that time you get into this big capsule and put the thing on, and but he was doing like a segment on virtual reality, and I like thought that was so cool. I got to put the whole gear on, and it blew my mind.
Is he still alive?
Is Phil Donahue still alive?
I don't know.
I am not sure.
Yeah.
Racing to IMDb, switching cameras. Why is it racing to
That's
IMDb?
funny.
I can't remember. Oh yeah, Princess Bride, crew. I survived the fire swamp.
Wow.
So my daughter was a team player. I got her to join me at a few conventions that I was just attending. She doesn't know who any of these people are.
Yeah.
And over time, I've said to her, I was like, someday you're going to appreciate like the people that you met. You're going to see these movies and you're like, I met them. I took a photo with them. And she's 11 now, and she's starting to have some of those moments, or she'll tell her friends, and then, they won't believe her. And we're like, okay, well, here's the photo.
Yeah.
There's the Freddy shirt.
The free hugs. I love it.
A lot of people, I don't know if you know, but that guy right there is the responsible party for Mark Hamill getting the Luke Skywalker gig.
Yes.
Yep. Really?
Did you know that, Gabe?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Mark Hamill was rooming with him, right, Doug? And then and he was sleeping on the couch. He came home and said, "Hey, you need to go.
You need to go to this audition.
You need to go to this audition." And he did. And he got the damn part.
That's fun. The Boys. I love that show. There's a new season coming out.
Jesse T. Usher was the one. He was just like, you got to give the boy. He's like, I come in and he's just like, nobody. He and Karen, they're talking about like nobody's giving the boys salute, and I was like, I know the boys salute, and they're like, okay, give the boys salute, and this was the result.
That's hilarious.
Hey, so maybe because I haven't seen the photos that you sent Gabe, but so all these awesome photographs that you have. So do you have these like shrined down a hallway of in frames, 8x10s, or?
Not yet. Right now, they're all in an Itoya book, along with like my bazillion autographs. They're all in Itoyas. We
Okay.
have a plan. Our basement is kind of like our home theater. So we got
Yeah.
the big TV, we got big counters, we got a popcorn machine. We want to do like a wall of fame
Yeah.
along the stairs going down into our home theater.
Yeah,
So
that'd be cool.
yeah, it's just framing. Framing is a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially you. I mean, you have so many amazing pictures.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That's so fun.
Tony Todd,
Yeah,
Candyman.
Candyman. And I love the fact that every shirt is just like your
Every shirt is
style.
themed.
You have Val Kilmer.
Val
Wow,
Kilmer,
that's a good one.
Batman.
Yeah, he looks like he was. That's when he was kind of sick, like
Yeah,
kind of.
he had the throat cancer,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you could see right there.
which
Yeah.
I didn't know at the time, and and he had his neck kind of bundled up, and it was funny because we did the autograph first, and he didn't talk to us, and I just thought I didn't know. I just thought he was rushing through it, and it was
Mhm.
okay. Sometimes that's how it goes. And then we got into the photo op, and I realized it, and yeah, my heart broke for him a little bit, and I was just like, gosh, I felt bad because I didn't know,
Yeah.
because I'm like trying to talk to him, and I'm thinking like, okay, well, I guess he's too busy to talk back to us. I just didn't know, and yeah, sometimes you don't know.
Man, yeah, that's unfortunate. Oh, look at this.
There's this, yeah,
Yeah,
first
man.
delivery. So this is funny. We went into the photo booth, like, again, 2 miles from the house,
Mhm.
and he's sitting up on a stool. She walks in first, and I walk in behind her. And I actually had a shirt on enlist as a red shirt because
Oh,
number one, I was a red shirt volunteer with official pics and the Dallas shows.
uh,
So it was it was a little tongue in cheek for my volunteer gig, but it's
mhm.
also tongue in cheek for Star
That's
Trek
right.
because you all know everybody knows what happens to red shirts when they go on away missions, right?
No,
Well,
I don't know.
this is a Star Wars show, so that's okay. No,
Michael's a big Star Trek fan. What happens,
Oh
Michael?
man. Hey, all kidding aside, and yeah, it's a fun thing, but I will tell you, we're going to show here in the next couple shows. Joseph just picked up an absolutely fantastic, gorgeous Star Trek studio model that
No,
spans almost four and a
nice.
half feet. Have you seen it, Gabe?
no, I haven't seen it yet.
Jeez.
So, Doug, what happens with the red shirts?
So we walk in, and she's like 2 feet tall. She's a tiny little thing. And he looks down at her. He looks at me, and he goes, "You're picking her up, right? Because I'm not."
No.
So I
Oh,
pick her up, and she's blocking my shirt, but it was okay. We still had our
yeah.
moment because after it was funny. We literally went from the photo ops, the way they did this show. You
Mhm.
went out of photo ops straight into the autograph line, like it was
Yeah.
all a package deal.
Oh,
So
wow.
he did the photos, and then literally came out to the signing table. There we were. We have our photo. He actually signed the photo, and yeah, he
Oh,
had Shatner's like chatting with my daughter, and I'm just chopped liver.
man, that's so cool. So, okay, we went through these. We'll get to Paula and then Back to the Future.
So yeah, this was last year in DC. This was my first
Oh, that's
convention.
cool.
This is
That's a cool
this
one.
was the first convention post pandemic. Um,
No.
and yeah, we have the plexiglass, but yeah, we had Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. So some of the former like official picks folks and others are, we've all kind of found different gigs and different opportunities like in the convention circuit. So I've been very blessed to been able to do a few shows with this group.
And look at
The last 4 years.
Michael J. Fox wearing my favorite band shirt.
Yeah, the Misfit shirt.
Misfits, man.
You
and
know what?
and
He looks good, even though he's sick. He still looks really good.
yeah, and Lloyd was doing a play, I think, in Boston.
Mm.
So he had the beard. You'd think it's a pandemic beard, but it was actually like for the play.
Yeah, and now he's in Star Wars, right? The rumors
Now
are.
he's in The Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah, that's great.
That's crazy.
He's beautiful still.
Yeah, Leah. Oh my gosh, Leah is wonderful. Did my first show working with Leah 2018, and what's great about Leah is number one, her energy is so positive. She is there for the fans. She gives 110%. Everybody leaves feeling like they just hung out with their best friend. But Leah brings one of her sisters with her every time she appears at one of these things. And working with Leah and her sisters is a very awesome experience. Like, I adore these ladies so much. Every time I see them, it is like we have the best time. We dance, we laugh, and what I love about them, every single person, whether you're getting your item personalized or not, they want to know your name. They want to know where you're from. They want to know, like, what's your favorite whatever, what's your favorite Leah moment, and they express interest in the fans and really enhance that experience. And I love that. I love seeing that, because even if they come through, and even if it's a dealer, bringing like 10 items through with the blue painter's tape and the sign here and this color and and character name and blah 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 blah, like, they will still take the time and be like, "What's your name?" Well, no, I don't want my name on that. No. We know. Well, what's your name?
What's your name? Yeah.
What's your name? Who are you? How are you? I love that human experience that they give to everybody who comes through their line.
That's awesome. I love this picture. I mean,
This was a good one. Tolkien and Tom. I'm really hoping Tom gets out there again soon. I miss Tom. He is as jovial and brilliantly hilarious as you might imagine.
Man, that's such a cool. Yeah, I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. We always have this conversation. Every once in a while, we're going to be like, I love Back to the Future Part 2. I say that's like the best, probably because of, my age and kind of, that's just the one that to me was like, oh my God, flying hoverboards and all that. And Michael's like, no, man, Part 1 is the best. And we have this little debate going back and forth.
That's awesome. So this is so funny thing. Leah brings a selfie light to her autograph table. So for folks who like buy the selfie at the table, it's always behind the selfie light. So this was us saying goodbye in Orlando 2019, and we're all like, let's use this one more time with the selfie light.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so cool.
But yeah, I love that because it's Team Thompson, and there we are.
Dang. That's so cool.
Team Thompson.
It's a great picture.
That was fun. This was Leah's idea. We were actually waiting to start. She was waiting to start DeLorean photo ops. I think it was Christopher wasn't there yet because they usually put him in the driver's seat of the car. And she was just like, why don't we take one? Come on. So I got and I'm carrying so much stuff around, so I got to take everything that we get in the car. And I was like, all of us. So it's Leah and her sister and us doing our DeLorean photo.
Oh, that's so cool.
Again, like, and I cannot like underscore this enough. Like, you think every time I have one of these moments, I think this is it. This is a one-time thing. This is great. This is gonna be a memory lasting forever, and I never ever take it for granted.
Yeah, man.
This is working with Christopher in Boston.
Man. So essentially, right there, you're at the beginning of his line, right? So they get to pick whatever.
Yep. So basically, I'm the first one that greets them at the table. Hi, how are you? What's your name? What would you like? And then get everything shuffled over and ready for the guests. We don't get the pens ready. Just it's all about creating a smooth assembly line.
Yeah.
Like I want everybody to have their moment but as soon as one moment is done, the next one is already right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Such a cool picture.
yeah, Tom and I in Boston. So this was a fun one because I worked with him one day, and he hadn't seen any of the show yet, and he was just kind of like, "Do you want to walk around? I think I want to walk around. Let's go, let's go walk around." So, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
people everywhere, like, are you sure you want to do this? And he's like, "Don't worry, I'll protect you."
That's hilarious. I bet people are just like stopping you guys off.
Oh, everywhere's Biff, 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 and I'm like, I'm trying to like create a barrier for him, and he's like, "I got this."
That's awesome.
Sorry, guys, my dog just chunked everywhere. So,
Oh,
I mean, I'm like, jeez. Anyway, sorry about that.
yeah. So no, these are just phenomenal moments that I so happy to cherish. And honestly, like I've said for years, like I can't wait till I'm old, and like I've had this vision of going back to Walt Disney World and being that old guy working at Star Tours and just telling all these stories, to people in line. I just envision myself being the old guy sharing all these adventures.
I mean, these are amazing pictures. I mean, this one, man, so cool.
Yeah, iconic. I mean,
Yeah.
When was this taken?
This was 2018 in Boston. It was kind of like one of the first Back to the Future reunions. Like this one was actually in the press. Like there's some photos of them from like a panel and backstage that actually, I won't say they went viral, but they definitely were published.
Yeah.
Hey, so what's his name that's going to be in Mandalorian? What's his name?
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah. Me and my wife were talking about him just the other day. I mean, I've been watching the reruns of Taxi. Gabe, have you ever seen the show Taxi?
Yeah.
Man, I love watching that, but it's like that guy never ages either,
Yeah. Yeah, he looks the same. I used to watch Taxi, but like on like Nick at Night. That was like one of the ones I didn't watch them while they actually aired.
Right.
So this is with you and Paula Abdul. Now she really was one of my first crushes. I remember. I mean, I specifically like remember watching that video of what's that one that's a Cold Hearted Snake?
Cold Hearted, yeah.
Yeah. And I would be like, oh my God, this is like, to me, like as a kid, I was like, I shouldn't be watching this.
I know that Bob Fosse, choreography.
Hey, Gabe, you know what? When I think about her, what I remember, when I moved right out of high school, when I moved to Los Angeles by myself, and I would sneak onto the set, not the set, but the studio. It was Lorimar before Sony took over, and I knew the security guard, so I was able to get into the main grounds, and I would go jogging. And I remember having a Walkman with her cassette.
Oh, really?
And running that through Lorimar Studios, listening to Paula Abdul. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. I was a Paula super fan in high school, and through her heyday, and when I'm not doing Star Wars, I'm not doing TV. Like I did try to learn to dance. She inspired me. A couple of other artists inspired me, and when I worked at Walt Disney World, that's actually when I started to learn how to dance properly and learn some technique, and I was able to perform a little bit. But it was funny because, I want to say like in '92 when she was on tour, the cable show that I worked for, she had come to our local area and they tried to book her for an interview. And I was like bouncing off the walls, like, oh my God, I'm gonna meet Paula Abdul. And it's like, okay, well, if we get this interview, like you gotta play it cool. Like you cannot do what you're doing right now. And they ended up not getting the interview. So I was like, oh, well, yeah, I'll never meet her. And then years later, like early 2000s, like 2001, 2002, VH1 had a show called Rock the House. And it was like different celebrities would come into your home secretly, redecorate your home, and then you come home and you're surprised, and the celebrity's there, and they decorate, and you have a moment. Well, Paula was going to do a show, and it was like, submit your video for consideration. And
Mm-hmm.
I got a bunch of friends over, and I staged this whole cheesy like Paula tribute through the whole house, and did this like, just cheesy video, and sent it in, and then found out later that the VH1 folks had actually like reached out to my family to be like, hey, we're actually thinking about it. Problem was I was renting a room with a roommate, and I didn't own the house. So, but they were like considering coming and redecorating the house, and I was going to meet Paula, and so it was like my second chance to meet her, and it didn't happen. But this was in 2016. This was her comeback performance. She had not performed in 25 years, and this was her first concert in 2.5 decades.
Yeah.
And they did the meet and greets after the show backstage, and I'm actually wearing a shirt from her 1991 tour that I still had.
That's funny.
It didn't fit very well. I was a little heavier. And this was like on the level of like the first time I met Mark Hamill, the first time I met Carrie. Like I was just exploding inside.
Man.
So we had a moment. This was a few years later. I took my daughter to see her here in DC. She was at the MGM Theater, and again we did the photo op and everything, and we actually got to see her rehearsing. And a couple of us, we were whisked into the theater. We sit down. We come in, and I see this tiny little body standing in the dark, not far from where we entered, and it's her rehearsing the song "Promise of a New Day." And I'm like, ah! And my daughter knew who she was, so she's excited too.
Yeah.
And we get to our seats, and she just kind of comes down our aisle, literally standing in front of my daughter, singing "Promise of a New Day" like in her face.
Wow.
And I'm sitting next to her, just like, again, tears streaming down my face and the whole thing. Later in the show, and I actually have this video up on YouTube, she pulled my daughter up on stage to join her and a couple other audience members in a dance competition.
Yeah.
Where they like, oh, everybody's gonna do an 80s dance move, and then the audience votes. And Paula's funny. She's like, who am I kidding? She doesn't know any 80s dance moves. And she says to her, show them what you're made of. And my kid turned it out. She's doing cartwheels and flips and splits and the whole thing to like Belle Biv DeVoe, like to where Paula starts bowing down to her, and again, tears streaming down my face. People in the audience are like patting me on the back and congratulating me. I'm like, my kid just had the moment I've wanted to have my whole life. And it's totally lost on her. She's like, yeah, I danced on stage with Paula, so what?
That's awesome. Man.
Oh boy. So this was 2017. Paula was on tour with New Kids on the Block and Boys to Men, and I purchased the meet and greet. It was my second time meeting her, and I had suffered a foot injury, hence the boot, on a trampoline a couple months prior, and this was literally like 3 days before I was going to have like reconstructive bone surgery on my foot. And the meet and greet was going to, like, it got really delayed, and then rather than have me wait, her handler, her people, her assistant, whatever, was just like, what, come with me, like, you obviously can't stand in the line, you can't do this, come with me. So they actually brought me up to her dressing room. And I spent probably one of the best 30 minutes of my life sitting on that couch with Paula Abdul, getting to say everything I've ever wanted to say to her, asking her everything I've ever wanted to ask. We talked about dance. We talked about, the old days, She asked me some questions about like what I do. She got really like, I told her where I worked. She got really interested in Discovery and like thinking about who she knew there, and but it was a phenomenal,
Wow.
unbeatable experience just to sit with like your teenage idol for a half an hour in their dressing room
Yeah,
and talk about everything under the sun.
that's crazy.
But this actually, I think this helped that experience that happened a year later, like when I brought my daughter to see her, because it was just, because we did the meet and greet first, and I reminded her, and I was like, oh, I was the one, I had the broken foot, and hopefully she made that connection. I couldn't really tell. She said she did, but you never know. But yeah, so
That's so
me and my kid we're just chatting.
wow.
She also wrote what I think is my longest autograph ever.
Oh, really?
She literally, I wish I had it out here.
Is it a whole quote or like part of her song?
No, she literally was like, thank you for all the support over the years. Everything you said while we talked meant so much to me. I really hope your foot gets better. Like, it just went on and on. I think it's my longest autograph of all my autographs.
That's so
She basically wrote me a note.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
That's the shot.
How long ago was that?
This was 5 years ago.
She looks great.
Yeah, and this was after her concert. She's covered in sweat, she's tired, she's sweaty.
Gabe's all excited.
I love Paula Abdul, man. I'm telling you, I was in love with her for a long time. So we're getting to the end here of the pictures, but Doug just sent me some of the Carrie ones that you were talking about. I want to show those.
Oh yeah, we've got to come back to Anaheim.
Wow.
So there she was signing. Wait here. And I would love to know. I would love to know if that girl got that tattooed.
All right. That's so funny. There you are.
Yeah. Well, she wanted a break, and you can see the crowd of people. Like they've all got their cameras out. They've all been waiting. They were so great. They were waiting so long. Everybody waited so long. Carrie worked very hard that week. We all did. To make sure she saw everybody and everybody got to see her. But this was Carrie's. This was her way. She knew they had been waiting, and she wanted to come up with something that could,
it's hilarious.
Make it a little sweeter, and then toss some glitter in the process.
So I wonder if she wanted to get a picture signed or something, or what?
Yeah, when we came back to the table, she got some stuff.
Because she just sat there, right, when y'all bailed?
Yeah, when we bailed. When we took a break.
Taking a break.
But yeah.
She did that. I remember that
the whole time. Show. She didn't move a muscle.
Yeah.
Man.
I wouldn't have either, though.
I know, right? Man. Well, thank you so much, Doug, for sharing all these amazing experiences. I'm telling you, and I'm sure these are just some of the pictures that you kind of rounded up. I'm sure you have, right? Like so many other cool experiences that you could probably.
For me, it's all about the memories. It's all about having the experience, because tomorrow is not guaranteed to any of us. And I learned a long time ago, you've got to make the most out of this thing called life. You got to pursue what makes you happy. And I watched one of your other shows. I think it was with Robin, and she was talking about Peter Mayhew. And she talked about how she did not get to meet Carrie. She had the opportunity to meet Carrie, but she missed out on the opportunity to meet Carrie. Mm-hmm. And Peter Mayhew as well. And none of us can predict tomorrow. Yeah. And I think each and every one of us should, do what makes you happy, you know. And every collector has their thing. But whatever your thing is, go for it 100%. Because anything you put your mind to, you can make happen.
No.
Like I said earlier, like watching Return of the Jedi in 1983, I could never have predicted that I would ever even meet these people, let alone drive them around in my car and get bathed in glitter by them and learn new uses for the F word. And
That's funny. That's a
you
cool
know,
story.
like I'm so grateful because these things, like, it's not just one person, like it's a village, like behind the scenes, it's a village to make it happen. And everybody works really hard. And these experiences mean so much to everybody that's behind the scenes, as well as to all the fans, kind of on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just eternally grateful to everybody who's helped make these things happen.
Yeah. Well, we thank you for sharing all these amazing memories.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have guests that will come and show us their collections of their toys or whatever, and they have this connection to those toys, right? That brings you back to your childhood. You not only have your collection, obviously your awesome setup, but you also have this like amazing just bunch of experiences from these actors, right? That, I mean, really molded all our childhoods.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And we have this shared experience across the board with all of these celebrities that, that you've had the pleasure of meeting and experiencing. So again, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
No, thank you for the invitation and for having me. I mean, it's very cool. And, anytime I get to, show off the desk, I'm going to say yes.
That's really, really cool.
No, that's awesome. But yeah, so thank you again, Doug, for jumping on. Thanks everybody for giving us your Saturday night as always.
Yeah.
Definitely we have some cool shows coming up, and then obviously celebrations coming up. Hopefully we'll see you there, Doug, and we'll get to see you in person and meet you in person.
Absolutely.
We'll both be there, right, Michael? And so
Absolutely, we look forward to it. Yeah, and I wish you the best, Doug, and getting in there with doing what you like to do so much. You deserve it. Definitely, you're very professional.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And hey, I do want to point out, this is kind of weird, Gabe, that I'm going to say this, but so everybody knows that I lost one of my closest friends about 4 weeks ago to colon cancer, and I'm 52 years old, and I went Monday for my colonoscopy, and everything came back where the doctor said everything looks good. We'll see you in 10 years. So I'm very blessed, and like Doug was saying, you just don't know what comes up tomorrow. You never know. But I will just say out there, if it means one person out there that's listening that's 45 years or older, man, that's 45 is the new 50. And I highly recommend, if you haven't got one, it wasn't that bad. Drinking the drink sucked. They put me down, and I was a little nervous, but it was a piece of cake. And again, it's kind of weird to bring up on the show, but like I said, if it means saving somebody's life, because trust me, I saw somebody suffer through that, and it could have been preventable. And he's the reason that I went and got it done. So you never know.
Absolutely.
No,
absolutely. And again, I mean, a lot of our friends and our collecting group are of that age. So
Yes,
absolutely.
exactly.
Got to look out for each other.
I was really pretty nervous though, because people don't want to go do it because they're afraid they're going to get that bad news. But holy crap, it's like Joseph said, it's one of the most preventable cancers out there. You know what I mean? So there's no reason that you don't get this taken care of. But for sure.
Yeah, here. Yeah, sorry for your friend.
Oh, thank you, Joel, for the comment. But yeah, man, hopefully we'll get you back on, Doug, and I look forward to maybe meeting you at Celebration.
Yeah, totally. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Sounds good, man.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thank you again, everybody, for joining us this Saturday, and we will see you next week.
All right, may the force be with you.
Good night, Gabe.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.